Ooh, that's really loud.
Sayonara no, I don't really remember at all what the song is called or what the words are, but I think that if I remember correctly that it is Nautilus by Yoshika, and I don't know what the rhythm is like after that. Sayonara no Yume something 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 yeah something 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 yeah something 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 yeah something 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 yeah something 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 yeah. Sure. Arlecchino trending. Wow. That's funny. I was just looking at Arlecchino yesterday, and by looking at Arlecchino, I mean I was looking at the wiki page for the Fatui, the Harbingers. I guess it's still the Fatui, but like specifically the Harbingers. Why does it say my connection's unstable? Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. Let me hit that ad. I was like, I hope I'm not. Also, my audio's all wacky. I started the thing just to see like make sure audio was good. And it was like all weird. Maybe it'll be better when I get into the game, but like my audio is like super whack. And I kinda hate it, not gonna lie. Everything's ready, everything's set up. I thought about putting on the glasses the other day, because we were reading, but in the end, I decided not to. Not to drag Neil? What? I actually was gonna start this. I was gonna try and start at 2:30, but I decided to push it back just a little bit. I was fighting Altazan because it's Altazan Day in Nikkei, so that was pretty painful. Also, I didn't do challenge mode. I forgot again. I forgot to do challenge mode for the event, and I found out that there's like challenge mode for solo raid, and that also solo raid only has 7 levels. And so I like did one solo run just to see the damage I could do, and then Blacksmith like annihilated me because I couldn't break his QTEs, and he also does a ton of damage and attacks more times than normal, so everyone just got absolutely melted. And I cleared level 7 again, and I got like 2 things, and I was like, this is not worth my time. I was like, this is not worth my time clearing him to get 2 random battery parts. So I decided not to. Anyway, as long as I set everything up correctly. Yeah, there we go. There's Scarf the Doll. It still looks different in OBS. Like, I'm looking in OBS, and it's very warm. It's a kind of a warm color. It's extraordinarily interesting. But then when I look at this, it's like a lot paler, like it looks like on my screen, like on the monitor. So I'm actually gonna open it up on Twitch. I'm gonna look at Twitch, and I need to know. Yeah, and it looks that way on stream too. So it's like my colors are kind of like washed out, which does not surprise me at all with this monitor. I could change that. If I change color temperature to warm, her face looks more like rosy, it looks more like the actual thing that I'm looking at on stream. The problem is her, oh, this is also really weird. Oh no, that was just because Twitch was paused. The problem is it makes everything kind of yellowy. And so like her sweater is kind of like cream colored now instead of like white. And it looks like it's white. just by looking at the thing. So the other thing is everybody just looks a lot paler because it's set to normal. What's the difference between these? Okay, so there's cool, which definitely makes everybody look the wrong color because everything looks blue. And then normal mode, which is a little paler. And then warm. The problem with warm is that her face looks closer to what I'm looking at on the stream, like what the actual colors are on this monitor. The problem is her sweater turns like cream colored and like the white text gets like yellowy, so I'm gonna keep it at normal. Even if she ends up being a bit paler and her hair is like kind of the wrong color, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But anyway, where we last left off, if I hit continue, oh, I can actually load any of these. That's cool. Whoa, wait. 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 I don't know which save we're at. I should probably just look at the one that has the latest date, right? Wouldn't that make the most sense? 34, 28, 14, 7, 2, 11. I should probably... Well, this one says 45. I don't... This is really confusing, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I make 12 save slots? I don't even remember that. Bring me neon or bring me death? Hello, Tacti. Oh, I should also probably, like, close this stream on Twitch. Like, I have the stream opened in, like, 4 different tabs. I should probably close one of those. I just realized that. I was like, wait a second. I have the stream pulled up here, the stream pulled up here, I'm looking at it in OBS, and I have it opened up again in Chrome. I should probably close one of those. I don't even know what save I'm at now. Oh no. I know that we're on December 21st. Like, past Big Sister. It was called, like, Big Sister of the Past or something. So I'm gonna say that since this one is at a bed, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's this one. We'll see. I could be totally wrong. Okay, this sounds like it's the right one. Yumino, come back, please. I'm gonna be lurking while I test TCG decks. Oh, right. Okay. I'm just gonna assume this is where we're at. I know I also didn't save where we ended last time. I couldn't save because the game doesn't let me save when I'm at a dialogue option or when I'm in the map. So I'm gonna assume that this is where we were last time. When I wake, I managed to get a peak meme match yesterday. Nice. I actually, just before this started, I was like, I need to use... Where's my camera? I need to use my Gruzin in Genshin. So I went to go fight Apep of the world. Hahaha. And I got a Poggers co-op match. Like, some of the nicest people. And it was really... It was... I don't know. It was such a smooth co-op. We did awful. We did so bad. But... It was really good. I brought Yelan because she's like the only character that I can bring to co-op unless we need a healer. And it was a Poggers Yai, Raiden, Yelan, Kokomi team. So it was just like, haha, numbers. And it was great. It was great. We took so long to defeat any of the enemies. Actually, APEP first phase was super fast, and second phase was super fast, but then all the little ads in the second phase, the first and last phase were really quick, but the second phase took so long. It was so annoying. And then we got to the last phase for APEP, and he did his big shockwave attack, and everybody died except for me, and it was the weirdest thing ever, because 2 of the people died because the shields didn't appear until after they had died for them to, like, get out of his attack. And then one of them died inside of the shield. Like, they were standing inside the shield and they still got killed by the shockwave. And it was just like, bruh. Anyway. Back to Scar of the Doll. I like it finished, and everyone was so nice, and I had wished I was recording it because it was such a nice like co-op session. But oh well. When I wake, I'm overcome by the strangest feeling. I haven't the faintest idea what it is I'm doing here. As soon as I turn on the TV, I recognize today's date. Today is December 21st. December 21st. Whoa. And yes, I think this is where we left off last time. But I'm gonna reread this anyway, just for some recap. Get back into it. Yesterday was the 20th, so today is the 21st. This much is obvious, but in my mind, there's no connection between the 2 days. How? Why? I try hard to recall yesterday. The effort makes me feel sick. Somehow, I sense that my body is rejecting my mind's efforts at remembering yesterday. Also, does the game sound okay? Yeah, it does sound okay. It just really quieted my headphones. Yesterday Yes, I showed the CDR to Yumino. The CDR on which I saved an email. Who sent me that email? Mr. Sheena. I feel like my camera's all... I remember. Mr. Sheena's dead. He jumped from the roof just yesterday. What did he want to tell me? He tried to tell He tried to tell me something. Just me. He knew my sister. That's why I showed the CDR to Yumino. I wanted to get any clues I could about my sister. Yumino said he was going to help me. What happened to him? That's right. I snuck into the professor's office. I looked for a clue to help me find my sister, and I found... a resume. A resume of a student. The student was me. And after that, was I stabbed by Maiko? Oops, there it is, that double click. I'm scared. I don't want to remember. The door. It opened. Maiko. She was going to... No. That's not true. I wasn't stabbed. I remember... just as I was losing consciousness, I heard a loud explosion. Was it a gunshot? I don't know what that sound was, but... Maiko crumpled to the ground. I remember the crimson stain spreading over her back. Then I passed out. All of that. Was it a dream? That must be it. I'm just having a nightmare. I want to believe that. I want to run away. I shake my head and repeatedly slap myself in the face to wake myself up. Wake up slap? Like the Pokemon move? Irritated that I still can't wake up, I angrily kick my bag lying near the bed. Yeah. The bag flies through the air, scattering its contents all across the floor. Is this... No. No way. What happened yesterday was all real? Why am I lying in my sister's bed? I heard a loud sound, perhaps a gunshot. I saw Maiko fall. After that, somebody must have carried me here. That's what must have happened. If Maiko was shot from behind, then who shot her? If that's what happened, then I suppose the same person carried me here. Oh, I completely forgot. I sneaked into the professor's room while Yumino was distracting Maiko. Yumino must have been worried about me and came back. But why did Maiko attack me? She was shot by someone. She fell down, dead. The person found me in the professor's room and brought me here. I realize that there's something I must check. Check that the door is locked, look for the key in my bag. I'm gonna choose the same things that we chose last time just to keep it consistent. I tip my bag upside down and search for the apartment key. There's the key in its usual place in the inside pocket. There it is. I quickly go to the front door and check to make sure that it's locked. The door is locked? This door doesn't lock automatically, so either I or somebody else must have done it. I have the key, but the front door is locked. I try to organize my thoughts about these facts logically. It's very likely that the person who brought me here, whether Yumino or someone else, would have used the key from my bag to open the front door. If that's the case, then how did this person lock the door when they left? After thinking deeply, I conclude that there are only two possibilities. The person who brought me here is still in the apartment, was my sister. Okay, so like I said before, we're gonna choose the same things, even though it might be fun to choose the other options just to see, like, what they... Am I centered here? It might be fun just to see, like, what they, are. I'm gonna choose the same things. I don't know if this really impacts anything, but just for the sake of consistency, I'm gonna choose the same things. We went with is still in the apartment. I'm still under the assumption that she is the sister, or she was given, like, false memories that she had a sister, and there's some sort of weird, like, it's an unreliable narrator, like, memory psychological thing going on. So I'm gonna do this. Also, we received a very cryptic clue early on that said if you keep thinking about your sister, you'll die. So I'm gonna go with still in the apartment. Plus, this is paranoid and it's funny. The person who brought me here is still in the apartment. Simply by thinking this, I'm overcome by a sensation that someone else is here. I looked over most of the rooms when I checked the door, but I haven't checked the bathroom. I'm not scared, but I should check, just to be sure. Jump scare. A sink. Phew. Nobody's there. Come to think of it, I probably got up and locked the door myself. Trying to convince myself that's what happened, I start to prepare to leave. And I think this is where we left off. Oh, this resume. This is what I got yesterday. By any rational measure, it should be impossible for them to have my resume. The address is different. Hongo Nanchome, Byonkoku. I don't live there. Nanchome. My sister's apartment is in 6 Chome, so it should be quite near. I memorized the address written on the resume. Just as I'm about to leave, I stop. A light is flashing. Check the answering machine. Playing. All messages. As soon as I hear the voice on the answering machine, I'm frozen to the spot. Asumi, it's me. Long time no see. I'm sorry I've worried you. Find the 5th report. That's the only way you can survive. Message complete. 11:37 p.m. December 20th. There's no mistake. That was my sister. That was definitely her. Asumi, it's me. Long time no see. I'm sorry I've worried you. Find the 5th report. That's the only way you can survive. Message complete. 11:37 p.m. December 20th. 5th report? What does that mean? The 5th report out of some sequence? Or does it mean something more specific? I'm on the verge of tears. Do you have any idea just how worried I was? But I'm glad. But sis, why won't you show yourself? If I find the 5th report, will I find you too? The resume I found on the night of the 20th. The address in it, Hongo Nanchome. The answering machine's message telling me to find the 5th report. These are clues to my sister's disappearance I have as I leave. Oh, these are the clues to my sister's disappearance I have as I leave the apartment. Okay, so this is where we were last time. We can either go to Hongo Nanchome, we can go to Hongo Station, or we can go to the Ginkgo Line Street. Let's go here first, just for fun. To the north of this road lies the entrance to the Taito University. A portly man who looks like a politician emerges from the entrance to the university. The man is surrounded by security, and for a second, I thought I spotted Yumino. I try to look again, but the group quickly piles into an expensive-looking black car. Is that Yumino? I must have been mistaken. Is this gonna be the same thing? Okay, yeah, okay. Now let's go to Hongo Station next. Now that I feel like this doesn't really, like have affect time. Time only passes once you've triggered certain events. I'm gonna start looking around other places more. I can't take anymore. I want to leave this place and go home. My father will come home soon. To Tokyo Station to go home. Let's go there. Can we just... Is this a game over? Can I just end the game? In amongst the hubbub of Tokyo Station, I'm tormented by an intense loneliness. Oblivious to my suffering, everyone else passes me by. It's just like Bakun Danma re-recording. Is this the end of a game? Is that just a game over? Is this like a joke ending like Insomnium Files? Is this just a game over? Oh, I don't like this. Looks like Lily of the Valley. Or not Lily of the Valley, Lily of the Hollow. I take the train back from Tokyo Station to the station of my hometown. I miss this place. It feels like I've been gone for much longer than just 3 days. I walk along the mountain road from the station, heading towards home. I miss this place. I really want to rest. Something's wrong. What is it? My home. Where's my home? There's nothing here. 3 days ago, on December 18th, I left from my house on this very spot. No way. What happened to my house? I must ask a neighbor. I hear the sound of a gun being fired. Is a hunter somewhere around? It may not be safe here. I can sense someone coming closer. Jump scare! Jump scare! A house where your family lived? Nothing like that around here. What? How can you say that? 3 of us. We lived here for years. The sound of a gunshot. Dun dun dun! It's true, I swear. We really did live here. It's just like The Last of Us. My father, my sister, and me. We were so close. Always. Game over. What you went wrong? She cannot escape easily. It's like she could not escape easily. What if we... Oops. Does this just bring us back to... Okay, I see. This is just going back here. I like how I was like, oh, they're actually just letting me leave. I thought it was just gonna immediately give me a game over. That's weird, though. I guess that's like... I feel like getting game overs, like, helps you pin together, like, what's happening in the story. I feel like I've got a better understanding of what's happening with that game over now. Somehow, the street is getting quieter and quieter. I decide to ask someone the way. Excuse me, do you know where Nanchome 52 is? I think that address might be the residence in the back. He has the same silhouette as the other dude we just talked to. That's pretty funny. In the back? If you go along the street, you'll see an isolated house. I think I saw someone else there earlier. They had some horses with a horse tack that was attached. Okay, thank you very much. This is the address from the resume. Look over the house, check the nameplate, ring the doorbell. Let's look over the house. What a big house. It looks old, but the house and the garden have been taken good care of. It looks like someone's living here, but it's so quiet that it seems no one's around. Perhaps no one's living here after all. This is too quiet. Does anyone really live here? Check the nameplate. The nameplate says Mikazuka. Like the professor. Mikazuka? This can't just be a coincidence. But why is this house address written on the resume? Press the doorbell. Right then. I've come this far. I've also got a thing for this. I assume the game is gonna have a sound effect for this, but I've also got one for this. There's no going back now. I pushed the doorbell. Oops, I did too soon. Ding dong! Ding dong bing bong? It makes a louder sound than I anticipated, then silence returns. It was certainly loud for me. I have my volume turned way up, so that sound alert, that soundboard thing was super loud. I need to mute this for myself. I just can't hear them. I wait for someone to answer over the intercom. May I help you? Should I put her voice through a filter? The voice sounds like that of an old woman. I take a deep breath and answer. I'm Asumi Kamijo. I'm Asumi Kamijo. Asumi? Do you say Asumi? Miss Asumi, my lady, have you come back? I'll open the front door right now, my lady. Please come in and... She's an Ojo-sama? A very old, very tired-looking woman emerges from the house. Please tell me, how do you know my name? Miss Asumi, I've been waiting for you. The master is working on some very important research for the future of this country. This woman seems like she's the maid here, but she might be a bit senile. I've waited for so long, so many years. But my Lady Asumi did not come home, nor did my master. My Lady Asumi, you were working on an important thesis. I heard you shut yourself in the underground lab every day and studied so very hard. My Lady Asumi, I know that your thesis will be excellent. Thesis? Writing a thesis? I've heard my lady is writing her thesis day and night in the underground lab. Oh, my Lady Asumi, I'm so glad to see you. At last, you have come back. My Lady Asumi, the master loved you so much. She doesn't even seem to register my confusion. She's making less and less sense. Suddenly, something happens to the old woman. She turns into a jump scare monster! If only that... if only that hadn't happened. Miss Asumi, my master is in mourning again today. Poor master. The old woman seems to be recalling some distant past. She's breaking down in tears. Oh. I'll come back later. Weird. That woman. She was acting very strange. I hope she's okay. She must have mistaken me for someone else. Anyway, I'm sure that I'll be back here again soon. Writing a thesis in the underground lab? The message on the answering machine told me to find the 5th report. It could be a thesis. My mind considers the possibilities, but there isn't much I can do for now. I assume these are all going to be the same. Okay, yeah, that's just another game over, and then... yeah, okay, cool. Well, back to the lab we go. We haven't been able to go to the police box or the town hall. I feel like I really am kicking myself that I missed that opportunity early on. Oh. Should I snoop around? I knock on the door of Professor Mikazuka's office. Yes, please come in. Did I hear a woman's voice from inside? I enter the professor's office. I want to see if it's Maiko. Watch her. Maiko Mizukoshi attacked me on the night of December 20th, after which she was shot from behind. Yet she looks no different to normal. Was it all some sort of dream? I had a lot of work to do last night after what happened to Mr. Shina, but it's my job. Are you feeling okay? Physically? Yes, I'm fine. I'm in shock, of course, but I have no health issues. Mr. Shina's body was taken away by a distant relative yesterday. We still don't know why he committed suicide. Interesting. Do I even want to ask about yesterday?
Miss Maiko, yesterday I find myself choking on my words. This is the woman who tried to stab me after all. Yesterday, last night, did anything happen to you? Last night? After the incident with Mr. Sheena, I had a lot of paperwork to fill in. I ended up working here until pretty late at night. Impossible. Was what happened yesterday not real? Was it just a dream? No, it's not possible. But how? How is she here? Oh, what's the matter? You look awfully upset. Did I say something? When Maiko tried to kill me yesterday, she was shot from behind by someone. That's right. I remember that she dropped the knife and collapsed beside me. Really? What's wrong? You're staring at me. There's no bloodstain on the floor, but as the office is carpeted, I guess it could have been changed. Try to trick her, say nothing. Let's do this. Let's be dumb. Let's make the stupid choice and try and trick her. Miss Maiko, I heard a very loud sound coming from here last night. Did you hear it? A loud sound? What kind of sound? Is she playing? I don't know anything about that. Nothing out of the ordinary happened. So, Shenhe is too strong? Ooh. Shenhe? I'm trying to think of a clever joke with her name and I can't think of one. Was it some sort of illusion that I experienced yesterday? Disappear amongst the sea of butterflies? Illusions of the past? She kinda looks like Sela. I wanna believe that. But even though I was a little discombobulated, ooh, nice word, it felt too real to be my imagination. Also, you can easily swirl for -2, -3 on all off fields. Ganyu 2.0. Also, if that was my imagination, then I'm more psychologically compromised than I thought. Wait, I have the resume. I had to have found that in the professor's office. It was just after that I found the resume that Maiko appeared. Literally? Yeah. Remembering what happened, I feel myself shake with fear. Shenhe Zhao Venti? I know what happened. It was real, and Maiko was shot after that from behind. Her body, after it collapsed on me, felt devoid of all life. But can I trust my own feelings? My own memories? If that was real, then how is Maiko able to act like nothing happened? Because, she called Serve Pro. Serve Pro, like it never even happened. She isn't hurt? Was she wearing a bulletproof vest? No, the blood was real. I don't see why she would have pretended to be shot. It must have been real. If that's the case, then why isn't she trying to kill me right now? Because it's the middle of the day, and there's a possibility that students and staff might see. If we were somewhere isolated, and no one else were there, suddenly my fear returns. I have to get out of here. What's wrong? You look pale. Come closer, let me see. Come closer, let me see you. Game over? Weird. Okay, so that's just the same. That was disconcerting. Also, I can't help but notice I can't, I can't go to the incinerator. And also, I can't go to the Auth stuff. So I can't even go find Kanematsu, even if I... Oh, what was that? Even if I wanted to try, I can't even go find him. So that's not poggers. Something weird just happened. I don't know. Hey, Miss Kaori. Oh, Kaori. Oh, hello. Have you been in Assistant Professor Haibara's room? No, he won't come back until the day after tomorrow. Kaori quickly scurries away. I thought he was supposed to be back on the 22nd. Shouldn't that be tomorrow? Let's go to the library. No one's using the library. Check the notice board. It's still the same. Yep, Sheena's still there. Kakazaki's still there. Yeah, everyone's still listed. Ask about the lab. Why not? Professor Mikazuka's not here today either. I guess being a professor keeps him busy, doesn't it? Right, because external work also increases. It seems that research is often carried out mainly by students. I'm lost. I was also suddenly laid off because of the incident. I'm sorry, but I'm just too busy to deal with it. What? A freshman doctoral student? I only know Mr. Ichinose. Weird. That was a weird conversation. Let's go to the computer room next so we can look at the sussy screensaver. Oh, several new computers. Search database. Oops. I might be able to get some information out of this database. Mikazuka Lab. Mikazuka Lab, attached to the graduate. Okay, we already need that. Fifth report. Okay, stop searching. Use the big computer. The computer on which I received my email from Sheena has been shut down. Oh, well. We didn't even get to see the sussy screensaver telling us not to turn around and that there's a severed head behind us. It's interesting that we didn't even get the opportunity. Every time that popped up, we didn't even get the opportunity to turn around or not. I guess that's where the game draws the line. Well, we know Sheena and Kakazaki are dead. Yumino's probably not here either. Let's work our way up. Hey, Ichinose. I don't want to talk about Mr. Sheena. The administrative staff have instructed all students not to discuss the unsavory incidents. This lab's not like others. We have to obey their orders. One of my fellow students has committed suicide and another is missing. I feel terrible. But come what may, it is our mission to continue with our research. I don't want to ask any of these people about any of this stuff, because I feel like after we got by Maiko earlier, I just don't want to ask anybody about anything. Fifth report? I may have heard of it, but I can't remember now. Against my better judgment. I showed the resume to Ichinose. It was kind of a gamble to show him after what happened yesterday in the computer room. Excuse me, but Mr. Ichinose, would you look at this? Ichinose stares intently at the resume, deep in thought. His eyes look filled with surprise and curiosity rather than suspicion. If you didn't make this up, and this was really in the professor's desk, then this is truly fascinating. I heard there was a student in my year who left before I arrived. Since the resumes were arranged in chronological order, and that resume was next to mine, it must belong to that student. I don't know why that student's name has been changed to yours, but maybe the student was the one who was writing the fifth report. Fifth report? Do you know something about the fifth report? Yes, seeing that resume reminds me of a story. Certainly, there seems to be a connection between the student in this resume and the fifth report. I wasn't told directly, but I heard the professor and the office manager talking. They looked serious. Ichinose stops talking. It seems he doesn't want to talk right now in this place. Keep your voice down. I'll tell you what I know. Glancing around nervously, he begins to talk. I overheard this as I was walking by the admin office one day. There's a thesis, written by a student who was here before I came, and it's kept in the basement. Is that the fifth report? I don't know, but I'm sure I heard the words fifth report in their conversation. How can I get to the basement? You know there's a steel door on the first floor? I've heard it leads to the basement. But only Professor Mikazuka and Assistant Professor Haibara have ID cards that can open the door. If I can get an ID card, would you come to the basement with me? Okay, you have my word. If I can get an ID card, Mr. Ichinose will come to the basement with me. The fifth report is there. Professor Mikazuka and Assistant Professor Haibara have ID cards that can access the basement. I need to talk to someone who knows a lot about the lab. Nice, now I can go talk to Kanematsu. Just for fun, I'm gonna check out the other places. Yumino, yep, he's not here. What about Kaori? Is she back at her desk? Nope, she's just not here. Interesting. What about Funabashi? Oh. Mr. Funabashi, I'd like to ask you about the fifth report. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that. Funabashi pauses for a moment before returning to his usual uncommunicative self. When he heard the words fifth report, I thought I saw a slight change in his expression. Mr. Funabashi, would you take a look at this? This is abominable. What? What did you say? Did he just say abominable? What did he mean? Funabashi says nothing further. Go elsewhere, okay. And then there shouldn't be anybody here either. Kakazaki's desk should be empty. Yep. It might have been. Yeah, we knew it was Kakazaki. We already knew. Sheena, the police have gone too, committed suicide. Cool. Alright, let's go chill with Kanematsu. Mr. Kanematsu, have you heard of the fifth report? Oops. I have. I know what it is. But it doesn't concern you. You should forget about it. I wish it didn't exist. Then nobody would have died. Please, tell me what you know. I have to know. Please. I know I'm in danger. Somebody's after me. I know that, but I have no intention of running away. Today, I got a call from my sister. It was only a message she left on the answering machine, but it was definitely my sister's voice. I've been feeling uneasy since I got here. I even doubted my sister's very existence, but now I know. The message I got today has clarified everything. My sister is in trouble, and she needs my help. You will suffer. You will suffer. Mr. Kanematsu, you know something. Please, you have to tell me. Even if you know what those words mean, you won't be able to do anything. The fifth report is a thesis written by a student who was here at this lab 4 years ago. The student was a genius, perhaps the greatest researcher we had here, performing the greatest research, the greatest show? That's right. In a perverse way, perhaps that might have become your very lifeline. And where's the thesis now? The basement. She wrote her thesis down in the basement for a long time. What was the thesis about? That. I don't know. Even I don't know that. But whatever it was, it cost her her life. Oops, I hit my mic stand with my water. Is the fifth report still in the basement? I heard from Mr. Ichinose that the professor's ID card is needed to access the basement. Do you know where a professor's ID card might be? Only Professor Mikazuka and Assistant Professor Haibara have them. But it's impossible. You will be killed. Don't do it. You'll end up like Mr. Shina. Don't do it. Kanematsu begins to cry. His sobs echo through the corridor. You might know where the professor's ID cards are, but he's in no state to tell me now. I give up and turn to leave. Wait. Professor Mikazuka's ID card must be in his house. A senile old woman is the only one there right now, but she is devoted to the professor and will do anything to protect the lab from outsiders. The ID card is important, so I think she'll be keeping it close to her. You can't just come out and ask her to give you the card, okay? Tell her you wish to write your thesis. If you say that, I think the old woman might give you the card. His words are mysterious. I know he's still hiding something from me. Good luck. Found out where the professor's ID card. I'm gonna show him the resume too for fun, because I like Kanematsu. He's like super weird, but like he's the only one who's like helping us. Mr. Kanematsu, could you look at this? Yup, I know. I know this person very well, but I can't tell you. Sorry. 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 I wanted to help you, but... The madness in his eyes for a moment seems for a moment to be colored by profound melancholy. Okay, well, let's go elsewhere. Oh, I just listened to it in the stream. It got all Dopplery and started cutting out. That's pretty funny. Let's try this then. That was... Do you like that? Is that fun? Is that fun and exciting when I go... I mean, that's the... they talked about how his laugh was, like, really high-pitched and not like his voice. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. Again, I go to the house whose address is written on the resume. This house is old, with a stately atmosphere. The nameplate says Mikazuka. Miss Asami, do you need something? I know everything, Miss Asami. If you need anything, ask me. Now's the time to make a decision. I like how we can just choose to not do what he advised us to do. We're gonna listen to Kanematsu. I want to write my thesis. Well, I'd like to keep writing my thesis. To do that, I'll need access to the underground lab. The old woman's expression softens. You are Miss Asami. Miss Asami, you wish to continue writing your thesis. I'm so glad. Please wait a moment. I'll bring the card right away. This was the ID card that my master used. My master said he would never come back here. Please keep it, Miss Asami. ID card get. Miss Asami, I am so looking forward to the day you finish your thesis. And let's go home. Never mind. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let's just book it straight to the basement. As I walk down the corridor, I notice something unusual. There's a door here, but it can't be opened. There's something kind of scary and ominous about that. Search the area. Huh? What's this? It's hard to spot, but the side of the door is but to the side of the door is a small security system and a card slot. I bet I can unlock the door if I insert the ID card. I can sense someone behind me. Jump scare! What are you doing? You can't go in there. If someone sees you, you'll be in big trouble. Sorry. As always, it's hard to read Kaori's emotion from the expression on her face. Stone Cold Steve Austin. I can't tell if she's scolding me or warning me. If I go now, I'll be caught, but I may have a chance in the evening. Okay, well, let's go talk to Ichinose again. Hey, Ichinose! Ichinose! I'm here! Mr. Ichinose, I got the ID card for the basement from Professor Mikazuka's house. Let's go somewhere else. Wait for me on the west side of the lab, beyond the flower garden. West Side Story? I'll be there at midnight. Saying only that, Ichinose leaves. Let's go to the flower bed. Should we go antagonize Maiko some more? Okay, no. Okay, whatever. I was like, should I go poking around with Maiko more? Just antagonize her more? Antagonize the lady who's out to kill us? So, Neon, do you know what Hatsune Miku is made of? She's made of I just... when did you type, did you just type that, Tacti? Did you just send that? I just looked over and I saw that you had typed that. Niku niku ni. About 10 minutes ago. It's funny, it's especially funny because both to my left and my right I have chat pulled up, but I'm staring right at my monitor to look at the game, so I don't see either one, even though like directly like 2 inches to my left and like 2 inches to my right I have 2 separate things that have chat pulled up. This is the place I agreed to meet with Ichinose. Let's wait for Mr. Itchy Nose. I feel somebody's watching me. Before I knew it, night passed and it was darker in there, but Mr. Itchy Nose didn't show up. I can't believe it. He stood me up. Such a beautiful young lady, as expected of an engineering student. Ha! Got him! It might be no surprise, but with the string of accidents happening to his senior students, it was understandable that he was anxious. Asumi is just having no luck with any of the guys in this game. She meets Kakazaki for the first time, he screams in terror and runs away from her. Then he busts into their house at 2 a.m. in the morning and then jumps in front of a train. Then she meets Sheena and he's like, "Hey yo, I think I might have known you and may or may not have been in a relation with you in the past, but maybe you don't remember or know, or maybe it hasn't even happened yet." And then he jumps off a roof. And then we meet, actually, Yumino, and he's like, "Don't worry, Athami, I'll help you out." And then he disappears too. And now we find Mr. Generic Hot Man, and he was like, "Asumi, listen up. You gotta get into the basement. We can talk about this later." And then he disappears too. I'm only stuck with the murder secretary, the sole female student in this lab, and Mr. Glasses. Who is it? Oh, it's me. Are you still here? The hottie showed up. Mr. Ichinose. Gotta get to the basement. I smell Shinzo wa Sasugeyo. I'm sorry. I thought you'd not be here anymore. Aaron Baker? My bad. I had to do a little research and kept you waiting until this late. Didn't you think it was dangerous? Not as dangerous as your face, hottie! No. I've been watching Attack on Titan. You must really think about your sister seriously since you try to find her like this. My sister's a mega hottie. I won't let you have her. Ichinose, you're gonna be with me. Yes, but I was just thinking about it, and I'm beginning to think that it would be better not to involve anyone else. Don't worry about that. This is my choice. It has nothing to do with you. I surely won't be the 4th male lead to be killed by you by interacting with you and helping you look for your sister. It takes about a week to watch everything release. I stopped watching, like halfway through, I think, season 2. I just don't. I was like, yeah, and then I was just like, I guess because of what happened to Mr. Sheena and Mr. Kakazaki, but that's also why I have to investigate. Mr. Itchy Nose. I have a distrustive lab. What does that even mean? I think my research is Season 4 is peak fiction. Is it peak fiction or is it peak fiction? There's a difference. No, never mind. Ichinose spoke something about his research and immediately stopped. Who is writing these sentences? After a short moment, he awkwardly changed the subject. So, how about that weather, huh? You see the baseball game yesterday? What's the difference? Well, there's peak fiction, which is peak fiction, but then there's peak fiction, which is peak fiction. Right? Right? I'm sorry for being hard on you in the computer lab. He was hard on me? He was hard on in the computer lab? What? It's probably the best season of 99% of anime? Alright. Then it's peak fiction. It's peak fiction, not peak fiction. I didn't understand you. I behaved like that because of my distrust and anxiety toward the lab. That's another game, Distrust. Oh no, you don't have to apologize to me. I think it's normal for you to think I'm suspicious. Thank you for coming to me like this now. Even though it's dangerous, give him that award-winning smile. It's okay now. I want you to know I'm on your side. Let's head for the basement together. There's nothing sussy about this at all. The two first-year doctoral students going, like, sneaking out, hiding out late at the lab, and then going to the basement at night together? There's nothing weird about that. Put it this way, it takes the entire story, flips it on its head, but backwards and in reverse. Interesting. Interesting. Aaron Baker. It'd be better to go there around midnight. We can wait a little longer. In my arms. I'm gonna create all the subtext for this game. I can just sit in his lap, and he can just wrap his arms around me, and I can close my eyes and put my head nestled in the nook between his shoulder and his neck, and we can just rock here, and then they'll be like, wow, look at them. Isn't that sweet? We won't be suspicious at all. I know you went into the lab last night and found a resume there. I'd like to hear the story about that time. In the deepening night, I told him about last night, being careful of my surroundings. Last night, I waited for night to fall like this with Yumino. Then Yumino called Maiko on the phone, and I snuck into the professor's office. That was where I found my resume. Aaron, by the end of the story, has a long list of war crimes, so long it would disband the Hague. Oh, I know about the ending. I know about the ending. I have a fairly good grasp of the beginning and the end of Attack on Titan, and then everything in the middle, I just go, something happened. The more I hear of your story, the more confused I get. I don't understand it all. Naruha don't. Neither do I. Did you ask Maiko about the resume? Maiko. Excuse me. She came back to the room right after I found the resume. And? She had a knife. She tried to stab me like the sussy imposter. No way! She's the sussy imposter? It's true. It's hard to believe, but I know it's true. I can't believe that. I saw her do tasks. I was there with her. I read the manga, so... But what happened after that? Did Maiko stab you? No. When she was about to stab me, she was shot from behind. That's... I can only assume that you're insane. Insane in the membrane? You have to be lying. I can't believe a word of it. I'm sure that everything is just as it always was. You may be right. I may be insane, but I'm also 100% serious about what I'm saying. No cap, for real, for real. I don't ask you to believe me, but I do want you to admit that I'm not telling lies. And if you will, I'd like you to help me. I know you believe what you're saying. The resume at least isn't a lie. I did hear a few rumors about a person who was in my year before I came here. Oops. And I've always been curious about what's kept in the basement. All students are explicitly forbidden from going down there. Anyone caught trying to go down will be expelled. Of course, the door is always locked. Back to what you were saying earlier. You said Maiko tried to kill you, then she got shot from behind, right? Then who shot her? Well, it was obviously Yumino with the gat. And more to the point, how is she working here today as if nothing happened at all? She's a robot. I think the one who shot her might be Yumino. Yumino didn't show up today, but I don't think he has a gun. Well, he's got guns for hands. Like that 21 Pilots thing. I don't know for sure. I wish this were all some dream. After that, I lost consciousness, and when I woke up, I was on the bed in my sister's apartment. Somebody carried me there. I see. That's why you think it might have been Yumino. We stop talking and quietly wait for the dead of night. I feel like everything will become clear if we can find the 5th report in the basement. With this ID card, we can access the underground lab. I should make an Agatha Christie-esque poem for this game once it finishes. Allah, and then there were none. December 22nd. Secrets in the basement. Base in the ment. Base in the ment. Base in the ment. Base in the ment. What? Oh, this doesn't look weird at all. This doesn't look creepy or disconcerting in any way, shape, or form, does it? No. It's past midnight already. All the lights in the room are off. Swipe your ID card there. The student ID cards we have don't work on this door. I insert the ID card into the slot of the security device. The door unlocks. Okay, here we go. As we open the door, I get the sense that it has not been opened for a very long time. What is this place? It's like the opening to that one movie that I don't remember the name of, where the guy is running up the stairs and it's all rotoscoped and then he gets shot a bunch of times. There are stairs leading down, but it's too dark to see anything. I'll walk ahead. I've got a flashlight. By the faint light of Ichinose's flashlight, we walk cautiously down the stairs. Right, I forgot. This is set in like 1998. So like, or like earlier. So they're still using like CD-ROMs and stuff like that. So they don't have like smartphones and things. What should we do about this door? Should we close it before we go down? Leave the door open or close the door? What could possibly go wrong from closing the door to the secret underground lab in the basement? You're right. I can open it with my ID card when we come back. You can open it with your ID card? Don't you mean my ID card? Then it's better to close it. This way at least other students can't come in. We won't be trapped at the monster will be trapped in here for us. Two haughty 22-year-old college students? What could they, like, the monster stands no chance. Look at us. We're both traditionally attractive. Plus he's got a turtleneck. It's cold. Well damn, Asumi, I can't control the weather. This is like the cold of night. Ah! That actually scared me. I need to turn those off. I need to just like... Wait, no. I can't turn those off, because that's not something that's coming in through OBS. That's just something that appears. Hello, Rodo. I can't turn those off. That's just something that feeds into my headphones. Ugh. OBS, why are you like this? You know what? I blame the fact that my headphones are so sensitive that setting my volume to 4 is like setting it to like 78. And right now I have it set to 18 because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to hear the game. I can't see well. I should have brought a better flashlight. As Ichinose says, the flashlight only illuminates a few steps ahead in the pitch darkness. Ichinose stops. What's wrong? It's a dead end. No, it isn't. Shine your flashlight there. Is this a doorknob? Another door? Do you think you can open it? I don't know. I'll give it a try. I think they'll open. But quick, let me roll a skill check first to see if I sense any traps. Ready? I'm gonna open it. Ichinose seems to be drumming up the courage to open the door. Ganbare, ganbare, Ichinose! Ganbare, ganbare, taicho! Outsider might say this almost looked like a schizo moment. The side of his face, faintly illuminated, seems to be shaking. Like myself, I'm sure he senses something terrifying, lurking behind the door. Ichinose turns the doorknob. And jump scare! It's so Dusty. Quiet. Do you hear that? It's a heartbeat. What's wrong? I thought I heard something from up above. Did you? I didn't hear anything. Ichinose shines his flashlight toward the top of the stairs. And jump scare! I think it's just your imagination. You're probably just nervous. The background music, someone went absolutely bananas with 2 pieces of metal. Yeah, I guess so. Just my imagination. And then... I'm going inside. Suppressing his fear, Ichinose opens the door. And then, jump scare! It can't hurt me if I can't see it. Oh. We groovin'. Dang. Dang. We groovin'. Is this a horror game? It is a horror game. Scarved, it's got a very long name. I'll see if I can pull up the full name. The full name of the game is Scarved the Doll, a psycho horror story about the mystery of an older sister. Don't worry, don't worry. There is an option at the beginning of the game to turn on horror ease mode, which turns off the horror, and I chose to not turn it on. The door opens onto a wide hallway. Go forward, suggest turning back. Straight forward. We barrel through this. Jump scare. Oh. There are doors to the left and right. Ahead is dark. How thoughtful of you. Open the right door, open the left door, go forward. Go forward! Jump scare! When they had walked to the middle of the hallway, Mr. Ichinose suddenly stopped. Mr. Ichinose, what happened? Jump scare! I watched you, who had been alone all the time. I knew your loneliness and predicament. I feel like I lost out on lore because I didn't open up the doors. I feel like I could have gotten lore if I'd opened up the doors, and now I'm not. And yet I never reached out of you. Horror game, you get instantly turned down 40% in volume. Mr. Ichinose, I'm sorry. I was running away. I was a coward to stand by and let it go. That's not true. I'm the one who dragged you into this. No, it was you who got involved. In hindsight, I see that you were desperate and not lying about the one instant in the computer room. But I was afraid that by taking your side, I would antagonize the lab. How cowardly. Also screaming jump scare like this, reacting like my father when he tries to scare me. I do that, that's for me actually. I yell jump scare because whenever something happens, I just go, there's gotta be a jump scare. There's gotta be a jump scare. If I just keep saying it, it won't be scary. Because then if I say it and there actually is a jump scare, then I can be like, haha, it's a funny joke and not scary. Copium. But you just came to me. I was scared. If you hadn't come with me, I wouldn't have come to this place by myself. Aw, isn't this romantic? This is the suspension bridge effect. And then they're gonna get murdered. They're gonna like start making out and then the killer's gonna show up and be like, horror movie rule number 1. The girl looks like your character. She kinda does. Your sister? No. I don't know if I want to have Asumi as a sister. She's kinda all over the place. Asumi does have a sister though, supposedly, that she's looking for. I waited patiently at the meeting place until last night. I was about to give up, but you came. I was very happy. You're not a coward. Oh, what a nice thing to say. You know what, Ichinose? You're actually not a coward. It was originally about the slab. You were involved in this, and we have to settle it. What is happening? What do you mean you don't know if you want to have her as your sister? I mean... Look at her. Is that a choice in America? I mean, it might be funny if she was my sister, but at the same time, she's like trapped in this weird like horror, like time loop, like hellscape thing. And so I don't know if I want to be involved in that. But on the other hand, apparently she's got a dad, and her dad is like not involved in this in any way, shape, or form. So that could be pretty cool. You know, like if I could just not be involved in the horror story that she's involved in right now, that'd be pretty cool. But I have a feeling that if she was my sister, somehow I'd turn in, it would be like I would be the one that went missing and she'd be looking for me, and I kind of don't want to have that happen. I kind of don't want to disappear like a ghost. I knew I couldn't run away from it. Mr. Shina, Mr. Kakazaki, and the seniors were scared, but they never ran away. I had no excuse for avoiding you until now, but from now on, it's different. So, I promise to protect you no matter what happens. That's a death flag right there. I'm sorry, Ichinose. I'll start planning your funeral right away. You know, I'll get it. I'll make sure that you've got a great eulogy. I'll get your ad in the paper. You know, I'll make sure that everybody knows how great you are. I'll hire a bunch of people to pretend to be your family since apparently you're an orphan. Don't worry, Ichinose. I will make sure you have an amazing funeral after what you just said, because you are 100% setting yourself up to get brutally murdered. Thank you, Mr. Ichinose. The truth is, I was getting lonelier and lonelier every day. I kept thinking that I wanted to go home, even though I've only been here for 4 days. But I had no place to return to, so I had no choice but to go on. Right. I'm sorry you had a hard time. It's all right now. It's gonna be okay. Death flag number 2. Yes. He tells me that he'll protect me. I know that I can feel so much safer just by having someone who says that to me. Bro, it's called Ichinose in the anime terms. They made his nose huge. Imagine. Imagine if he had like a Pinocchio nose, or like Igor in Persona. At the same time, I worry about him. The horror of the slab comes to mind. If something happens to him... Let's go. We're almost there. He intentionally made a cheerful voice, and it echoed in the basement. Oh, it echoed, did it? Do I have an echo? Do I have something for echoing? Hello! Does this echo? Echo? It kind of does. Echo! He said voice. He intentionally made a cheerful voice, and it echoed in the basement. I answered him and walked forward. Answered him? Jump scare. Go forward. Ooh, we're back to the cool music. Go forward. Always forward. Ignore everything else. A strange, unfamiliar odor can be detected. The flashlight is providing the only light. Pay no attention to the lights in the hallway. Open the right door, open the left door, go forward. We're just gonna keep going forward. I'm refusing to open any of the doors. We're just gonna keep going straight forward. The hallway has reached its end. Beyond lies a room that looks fairly large. The flashlight is next to useless, illuminating only a short distance in front. Always lead to Rome. Enter the room. Is this a lecture room? It's more like a seminar room. The teachers and students all discuss ideas together. A long time ago by the looks of it. Old desks and chairs are scattered around, covered in cobwebs. The whole room looks disused. Can't see anything here. Just desks and chairs. Yes. Oops, I double-clicked again. I wonder when this room is used. Excuse me. Looks like students used to come down here. I don't think anyone's been here since I came to the lab. As far as I know, anyway. He was really like, actually. It doesn't seem like a very nice place to study, though. All of a sudden, I noticed that the desks and chairs at the front of the room are piled together. Doesn't that look strange to you? If we move those desks and chairs, there might be something there. What, you mean the ones all piled together like junk? Yeah, it seems unnatural. It's as if they've been piled up to hide something. Or to keep it locked in. You know, let's just, like, release the demons. I'm all for that. You know? Let's unleash the eldritch deity from its slumber and have it destroy the world. Okay, I'll see what I can do. I'll help. What does she mean it seems unnatural? I guess she said she thinks it's weird that somebody has like piled all the desks and chairs in a big pile at the front of the room instead of like spread out. A seminar room is not a natural habitat. Ichinose considerately holds up his hand to stop me and hands me the flashlight. No, I'll do it myself. Just shine the light for me. Aw, it's just like father-son bonding. It's like Ichinose, he's like fixing something, you know? He's doing some home reno, and there's, Asumi in her little hard hat holding the flashlight be like, I help too! Every time Ichinose moves a desk or a chair, dust is kicked up. This is hard work. Hold the light more steady. It's like, no, over there. No, more to the left. What's wrong? You guessed right. Look at this. After removing all the desks and chairs, another door has been exposed. Okay, let's open it. Wait, I'm scared. I'm really scared. I don't think we should open it. Well, too bad, Asumi. I'm in the one control right now. It's okay. No need to worry. If you feel scared, you can wait here. Ever since we entered the basement, I've been overcome with unrelenting chills of fear. I'm afraid of what might happen to me, and I know that behind that door lies my fate. This door looks closed. There's a device here I've never seen. Is this the lock? Stand in front of the device? Okay, let's open it is something no one has ever said to a door buried behind desks. Look for an ID card slot. Stand in front of the device. Let's just stand in front of it. Maybe it's got facial recognition. The system seems to require some sort of authentication. But what? I don't know. When Ichinose stands in front of the device, I can see that it is moving ever so slightly. Maybe, somehow, it is analyzing him to see if he has the authority to enter. It's not working with me. Do you want to try just in case? Why yes, of course! I will stand in front of this mysterious door that we found in the sussy underground basement. I am scared. If this door opens, I feel like all the pieces may come together at last. Man, it would really suck if the game just like ended right here. Like if it's like, oh, we solved the mystery. It's only been like an hour. That'd really suck. Let's do it. My sister's disappearance, this strange lab, a student's death, the message my sister left, the 5th report. What's wrong? I'm sorry. I'm just a bit scared all of a sudden, but I'll try. Swallowing my fear, I step forward and stand in front of the device. Nothing? No, it's authenticating. I think this is a voice recognition system. It analyzes your voice. The Scooby-Doo gang, but it's only Fred and one of the girls anymore. I forgot the names. I feel like Asumi is like... I feel like she's a Velma type. She's Velma, but if Velma like dressed like Daphne. Release, Asumi... Oh wait, I got something for this. I got something for this.
Understand. Right. Release Asumi Kamijo within 10 seconds. Failure to comply will result in the erasure of the 5th report.
Erasure? Step back, now! It's no good. How can we open the door? The hallway has reached its end. Oh, so we actually do have to go backtrack. I actually hate this. I hate this so much. Oh. Fine, I'll go all the way back towards the stairs. I'll go through these horrifyingly long... I'm gonna save here. Actually, I can't even save. Okay, I'm gonna save here. Strange odor can be detected is a dumb way of saying it stinks, right? Yeah. What happened to my save slots? Oh, wait, were those other ones quick saves? Well, we can save over this. We don't need that anymore. Suggest turning back. Okay, so the reason why I've done this is I'm gonna suggest... I saved there because I wanted to see what happens if we just completely leave. We get all the way to the end, we find the secret door. What if we just ran all the way back and just left? I'm scared. I want to go back. We haven't completely searched the basement, but I can't stay any longer. I want to leave this accursed place as much as possible. But it's obvious that Ichinose wants to keep searching. Okay, let's go back. Actually, I'm a little scared too. Ichinose smiles at me. Bye! Peace out! Peace out! Bye! We open the door we came in and climb back upstairs. And at the top, there's Maiko with a knife and she stabs both of us. I feel like I could trip at any moment. These stairs are so steep. I didn't realize that they're way down. Asumi, please don't trip and fall down the stairs and snap your neck. I'm gonna be so mad if that happens. You'll be fine. Just move slowly, one step at a time. I'll keep the flashlight trained on your feet. Ichinose lights my way. The two of us slowly climb the cold, steep stone stairs. Ichinose goes first, but is using the flashlight to light my way. He can't see ahead of himself. Perfect time for someone to jump out and stab him. I can just make out the next step. Huh? Jump scare. What's wrong? That wall looks strange. Now stairs are a challenge? Nah, this just can't be real. What was that? It looked like a pattern. Red, green, blue, yellow, yellow, red, blue, green, yellow, red. A pattern? Where? There. The side wall. What's that? It says 11037. I'll shine the light on it. Please don't, Ichinose. Please don't. Please don't. I've got the remote right here to turn off my monitor. I've got it right here. I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it. Oh. Hey, bro! Nah. Nah. That's Funabashi, isn't it? That's Funabashi. As the light lands on the wall, what I caught a glimpse of suddenly comes into focus. It wasn't a pattern, but instead a person. I have a remote to turn off my monitor. Well, yeah, it's like a, I don't know what it is. It's some really old, like, thing that has to be plugged into, like, an outlet. It has like a two-pronged, like, electrical thing, like, cord on it that I have to plug in. Is my monitor a TV? I guess it could be. It doesn't, like, connect to anything. It's just this, like, really old, like... My second monitor is an old TV. I do have an old TV that I use for my personal use when I play on my Switch that is actually much nicer than this one, and I probably should use it in here, but it's just really bulky. So instead I have this, like, old thing. I don't even know what this is from. It was just, like, in the basement. But anyway, it's got a remote that I have to turn on and off, and it's super annoying, and it is not good. It is Funabashi! Hey! Hey! My man does not look alright. My man does not look okay. It spawned in the basement. Hello, Misty! You joined at a perfect time. You joined at a perfect time. Let me get this ready. Hello, Misty. I'll wait until I see you in chat, and then I'll give you the shout out. I guess I could do it now. There you go. What are you doing? Tears of the Kingdom still. This guy also looks like you. Actually, you know what, Rodo? Don't... that was loud too. I was welcome to my own stream. You know what, Rodo? You know what he kind of looks like? You know who he kind of looks like? He kind of looks like... Where is he? Where is he? He kind of looks like, kind of looks like Unosuke, doesn't he? Doesn't he kind of look like Unosuke?
Oops. How small can I make him? Okay. Thank you for the shout out. This again? No problem, Misty. Do you having fun with Tears of the Kingdom? I really need to keep playing it. He does, it's okay. There we go. I hate how it loads into the center. Is that too big? It's so fun. I really need to keep playing it. I just finished the Wind Temple. It was really cool. I felt really cool playing the Wind Temple. Like I felt really cool. Like I was actually good at the game. It was really fun. Anyway, to quickly give a recap about what's Scar the Doll is like. Basically, he has your cut for real. He does. He actually does. It's crazy. We are playing as 22-year-old Asami Kamijo, a conventionally attractive 22-year-old Japanese college student, maybe, but she like was just chilling at home. I don't know what she does. Who knows? Who was trying to find her sister because her sister was suddenly like, I'm not returning any of your calls. So we went to go to see where she was at her university in Tokyo. And we found that apparently nobody knows who she is. She doesn't exist. And so we've been investigating at the lab that she said she worked at. And we met a dude, and he saw us, and he looked at us, screamed in terror, said, "It's you! Stay away from me!" And then ran off screaming. Then we went home. We couldn't sleep, and it was like 2 a.m., and we heard... So, like a rational person, I was like, let's open the door. And it was the dude from earlier. It was Kakazaki. And he busted open. And he was like, here's the passcode. You gotta talk to Sheena. Sheena can help you. And then he ran off screaming. And we were like, that was mega weird. The next day, we were like, well, I guess we're gonna go see if we can find Sheena at the lab. And as we're going there, we went to the subway station, and we found out that some dude had like yeeted himself off the side of the subway tracks in front of one of the trains and got absolutely annihilated. And we were like, I wonder who could it be? Could have been our sister? Could have been our sister who killed herself because we can't find her? And we went in there and we saw this messed up, like, mangled corpse. And Asami was like, oh, is that Kakazaki? It could totally be Kakazaki. And we reported it to the police, and then we went to the lab. And Kakazaki was nowhere to be found. We talked to Sheena. He was like, I'm busy, don't talk to me. And then we found a silver locket in a trash can. And we were like, I wonder whose this is. I should return it. And we found out it was Sheena's. We gave it to him, and he was like, thanks. Actually, I've got something to tell you. Go check out the computer lab. And remember, you can only enter if you're a doll. And we said, what does that mean? So we went to the computer lab and we logged into one of the computers and we had an account on the computer. And we were like, what? Somebody made us an account? And we logged into it and we got an email from Sheena that said, forget about your sister. She doesn't exist. This lab is weird. You can't ask anybody in the lab about her. Watch out. And we were like, what does that mean? And then he was like, you have to leave through the back exit. If you go through the front entrance, somebody will kill you when you leave. And so we snuck out the back. Then we went home and we slept and we were like, cool. Then we came back to the lab the next day and we were like, let's go ask Sheena more questions. And we went over to his desk and he said, I'm busy, come back later. And then we were like, but Mr. Sheena, and he said, I'm busy, come back later. And we were like, about yesterday, and he said, I'm busy, come back later. And then we tried to put his hand on his shoulder, and his face went all gobbledygook, and we screamed, and we found out that he had replaced himself with a hologram. And then we saw him jump off the roof of the building and just kill himself. It's late, I need to go, sorry. Alright, Rodo. And we were like, that's crazy! That man just jumped off a building. Good night, Rodo. Then, we were like, quick, we need to figure out what happened. And luckily, we had saved
a copy of the email that Sheena sent to us on a CD disc. And we went to Yumino, one of the other students, and we said, Yumino, here's an email from Sheena that he sent me. You have to help me. And he looked at it, and he was like, don't worry, Asumi, I can help you. Let's meet again here later at night. And we met back at night, and he said, okay, I'll call out the secretary so you can go look in the professor's office. I can probably only distract her for about an hour. And we were like, all right, got it. So we booked it in there, and we started snooping around, looking everywhere. We looked at the hat, we looked in the drawers, we looked at the bookshelf. And what we found was a file folder full of resumes from the students. And one of the resumes was our resume that we had applied to the school. It was a picture of us with our name, but a different address than what we had known. And then Maiko busted through the door, and she had a knife, and she was all like, hey, yo, you shouldn't be here. And then we heard a bam bam, and she got shot in the back, and she collapsed in front of us, bleeding out on the ground. And then we passed out. And then we woke up, and we were inside our own home, like nothing had ever happened. And then we found the file folder in our backpack. And then we went and we decided to investigate more, so we went back to the lab. And then we found Ichinose, and Ichinose is like, I think I might have heard about this 5th report that your sister told you to look for. Don't worry, I'll help you break in at night. So we snuck in back at night. We went into the basement. We were searching in the basement. I chose to close the door to the basement behind us. And we ran around, and we got all the way to the end of the basement, and then we couldn't get through the door. So I was backtracking to go look at all the things I hadn't looked at before. And while we were going back up the stairs, we saw a weird thing on the wall. And when we shone the flashlight on it, it was this guy. Funabashi, one of the other researchers, standing here with a knife. So I assume we're about to get stabbed. Oh, Ichinose and I both tumble back down the stairs. Just before we fall, I see Ichinose's face. It's weirdly twisted, and his eyes are wide. My skull is driven forcibly into the hard stone floor. In this very, very cold place, our bodies lie, one on top of the other, in each other's arms, deathly still. Game over. Cool. Well, go forward. We're gonna open the right door. It looks empty. I don't think there's anything here. I think somebody's already cleaned this place up. Look, there's a library. By the dim light of Ichinose's flashlight, we can just make out several bookshelves. It's so dusty. This is an old library. How old? I don't know, at least 10 or 20 years. Ichinose lights up the bookshelf and checks each book one by one. Everything of interest to us must have already been removed. Once this lab was sealed up, someone must have taken everything with them. Someone in the lab? Ichinose is silent. He seems to be considering the matter. Why is this area no longer in use? There's nothing here. Let's go back to the hallway. Okay. That wasn't weird at all. Alright, so let's go to the left door. Okay, I'm opening it up. Jump scare. Ichinose carefully illuminates the place with his flashlight. If I don't look at it, it can't hurt me. Oh. This room is for storing chemicals? It seems so dangerous. Search it. Looks like the room only has a bunch of chemicals. Ah! Ichinose lets out a loud cry, accompanied by a shattering sound and the splash of liquid. Ah! Instantly, I realized that this place was designed as a trap for trespassers. A bottle filled with strong acid has fallen from the top shelf. Top shelf acid? The room is smelled with the acrid smell of acid burning flesh. Oh no! Ah! Screaming in the agony of the already... What? Screaming in the agony of the already dead, Ichinose stumbles toward me. Startled, I stumble backwards and collide with the shelf behind me. Oh, we're gonna get acid burned. Oh no. Something lands on my head and shatters. Game over. This basement is not just a basement. The investigation would not be a simple one. Okay. That one wasn't that bad. I mean, out of all the deaths, I feel like that is definitely the worst death. Like, out of all the deaths so far, I have to say that, I gotta say, getting burned alive by acid's definitely one of the worst ways we've died in this game. But the other ways we've died have been, snapping our necks, falling down the stairs, getting stabbed with a knife, and getting shot. So, last time the left door was bad and the right door was good, so I'm gonna say that the game is gonna try and trick us, and we should open the left door. That's gonna be the safe door. This door, has it been sealed shut somehow? No, it's odd. Not so much sealed shut. It's more like someone's tried to cleanse it of evil spirits. Let's search it. Nothing can possibly go wrong. Something's odd about this room. I don't think we're the only people in this room. Are we gonna see the old lady? Are we gonna see the lady? It's strange, but I sense it. I can sense that somebody's here, and I can sense that I don't want to look at the screen. Don't say that. Who could be here in a place like this? Hey, don't you feel it? Someone is here, in this room. Okay then, why don't you stay at the door? I'm just gonna keep not looking at it. I'll search the room myself. No, I'll go with you. Don't leave me. Alright. Huh? Hey, who's there? You know what I'll do? I'll just look at the stream instead. I'll block the screen with this and just look at the stream. You see? I told you there's somebody there. Damn it. Where'd you go? Actually, what I'll do is I'll just look at it in OBS. I'll just not pay attention to what's happening over here, and I'll just look at what's happening in OBS. Show yourself! Oh. Oh no. This is... What the hell is this? This is crazy. This body should be rotting away. Why does it look like it's been mummified? Who is this person? It can't be. I remember. This is the woman from my dreams. Oh, well, I don't want to see that. She was holding her stomach and looked in pain. I thought she was just fat. Well, that's rude, Asami. The abdomen seems distended. I get it. She was pregnant. Is this gonna be like Outlast 2? Now we know exactly what she was doing. Pregnant? What do you mean? What was she doing? I'm sure she gave birth to them. Them? Ichinose falls silent. I think we're past jump scare moments. He knows something, but doesn't want to talk about it. The pieces of the puzzle have all come together for him, but I'm still in the dark. I've seen them, just once. It was for an experiment for my research. I didn't really see their faces, I just had a glimpse. Oops. I wasn't really thinking. Ichinose is still talking, but he isn't making sense. He's rambling like a sleep talker. Only the ID cards of the professor and assistant professor get you in here. That means that Professor Mikazuka and Assistant Professor Haibara know about this dead body. This woman lost her life as a result of research conducted in this lab. Am I right? In order to hide this fact, the lab leaders forbade anyone from entering this place. I don't know who's responsible for this. I was just told not to come here. A long time ago, a staff member went crazy and died. I've only heard about that. I think they were trying to bury everything here in the dark. No one dares gets closer. Why don't we pray for her? Together we offer up a prayer for the poor woman who died in the underground lab. Closing the door, we return to the hallway. Like nothing happened. Okay. Well, let's go to the right door and die horribly. Is this a lab for experiments? I guess so. This place is closed up too, though. What's that smell? It's giving me a headache. It's formalin. You often see it in high school science rooms. Some sort of dead creature preserved in liquid. That liquid which prevents the animals from rotting is formalin. That's what smells. But this smell isn't coming from this room. Ichinose looks around with a flashlight. After a while, he stops. Over there. This door has the same security system as the door to the basement. I think with your ID card you can open it. Let's open this door too. Why not? Why not? Do you think the 5th report will be in here? I don't know. Maybe. Either way, it seems odd. What do you want to do? Let's use the ID card. What could possibly go wrong from opening up mysterious doors in the basement lab? I insert Professor Mikazuka's ID card into the slot adjacent to the door. As expected, it works. The door unlocks. Okay, let's go. I don't want to see this. I don't wanna. Don't wanna, not gonna, can't make me. Ugh, what's that smell? Something is here. Ichinose lights the way with his flashlight. Ugh. Icky. What is the Death Stranding? This is terrible. Are they all dead? Of course. Why? Why? Who would do such a thing? Oops. Ichinose doesn't speak. I can't see his face in this dark, but it's easy to infer that he is in a state of shock. What were they doing down here? It's just so awful. Were these babies all born in the process of some sort of experiment? Mr. Ichinose, you know about this? Yes. I'll tell you later. Will that be okay? Let's go back to the hallway. Ichinose suddenly stops. I have to tell you something. The truth is, I'm a murderer. About the lab. Strange. I'm standing behind Ichinose, and yet he's talking as if I'm in front of him. Huh? Hey, wait a minute. I'm here behind you. Who are you talking to? What? There's a scuffling sound. Then suddenly, the flashlight falls from Ichinose's hand. Somebody must have been waiting for us in the dark. Who are you? Look at her. Look how dramatic they look. He kind of looks like Kakazaki, with his hair all disheveled. Damn it. Run! Ichinose pushes me hard. Ugh. I hear a strange sound. Ichinose's groaning. Mr. Ichinose! What's happening? Stay back! Damn it. I can see Ichinose swing his arm wildly. Then I hear the sound of a punch landing on human flesh. It seems Ichinose must have hit the person. Asumi, over here. Come quickly. Ichinose sounds in pain. While his assailant is still winded, we desperately open the opposite door. With all the strength we have left, we slam the door and lock it behind us. Mr. Ichinose? It's okay. It's nothing. Don't come. He wasn't injured after struggling with someone hiding in the dark. I was really relieved.
What? That's weird. Why would she say that?
Thank God you're not injured. I was wondering what I should do if something happened to you.
I'm putting something in, don't mind me.
I was just a little out of breath. I don't do enough exercise. Ah.
He's a couch potato.
I'm sorry. It's my fault. If I hadn't come to this lab, no one would have been hurt. It's got nothing to do with you. Don't think that way. If you say that, it's not worth the efforts we've made. Neither Mr. Shina nor Mr. Kakazaki think that. I can hear the sound of some kind of liquid flowing. My feet are strangely fresh and warm. In the darkness where I cannot see anything, I can feel his disturbed and abnormal breathing. It seemed quite different from simply breathing faster after a struggle. You must be injured. Why didn't you tell me? You need to be treated quickly.
It's kind of not cool.
Even in the darkness, I could still see Ichinose trying to force a smile.
What is that? What's the lyric? Hey, hey, though I try to speak, all my thoughts will never come to light. I'd just... That's not the right one. Hey, hey, even in the silence I know exactly what you mean. Eyes say all we really need to, it seems. Although, they can't see each other's eyes, so kind of doesn't make sense in this context, does it?
It's not a big injury. I'm going out. I'll go back and call someone. Wait, you can't. There's someone out there who stabbed me. Don't you understand? But if I don't go outside, you'll... I'm a coward. I can't bear to be left alone in a place like this. He pulled me strongly.
Shake him off and go outside. Stay here. We'll stay here. I'm not gonna go outside and get stabbed. I'll just be here and be sad that he's dead.
Thank you for saving me. I can't be left alone in a place like this. You said that on purpose because it was dangerous for me to go out alone, right? You said you were scared. You really said that to save me. If I notice your injury, I'll go out and get stabbed by someone who's waiting for me. So you held still and tried not to let me know you were injured. What should I say? If I take care of you quickly, you might make it in time. Just wait a little longer. There might be a ray of hope. We may have some friends on our side and the situation outside may change. At that moment, I hear a blood-curdling cry from outside the door.
Oh, an actual scream.
Uah! What's that? Whose voice is that? Outside the door. That psychopath is still there. Asumi, we'll be okay. Just stay still. If he breaks the lock and comes in here, I'll stop him. But who is screaming? You mean, there must be someone else down here besides us and the one who stabbed me. The fifth report. What is it all about? It's all gone so wrong.
I wonder if it's Funabashi or is it somebody else? Is it a fourth person?
I think you already know, but this lab isn't normal. Can I tell you a little about my research?
Oops.
Ichinose starts to talk, but in a weak but composed voice. I think it's time to listen to him. I heard a sound, and then I knew. That sound, like a cell phone's ring, it has a particular wavelength. When they hear that sound, it's like a switch goes off in their brains. Mind control. My research. It was a continuation of that project. Huh? When they're very young, they're trained under certain special conditions. It allows them to be controlled, subconsciously, like Jason Bourne? Like religious mania. It's the same thing. Subconscious conditioning. Then a particular sound can be used as a trigger. That puts them under the power of hypnotic suggestion. So what are you saying? That assailant before... Yeah, I think so. I made this happen. Mr. Ichinose, come on, pull yourself together. I never imagined my research could be used like this. I was naive. I was stupid. I was too dense to realize what was going on. It's all my fault. Mr. Ichinose, this isn't your fault. Stay with me, come on! Ichinose's breathing is getting shallower. The wound is deeper than he says. It's okay. Stay with me. I was so glad when I was selected to study here at the lab. One day I was told that there was a vacancy. It was just like a dream. I've always loved science. I grew up an orphan. I don't have any fond memories of my childhood. In the orphanage, there was a microscope, which some well-wisher had donated. While the others played outside, I shut myself up in the closet and played with the microscope. It was like a little universe, all of my own. There in the dark, I saw unlimited possibilities in the tiny world of microorganisms. I became obsessed. I saw so much. The mysteries of life, miracles of the earth. Ichinose's words are filled with passion, like a young boy talking about his dreams. I learned the joy of knowledge there in that dark closet. Right then and there, I made up my mind that one day I would be a scientist. That dream came true, but now I can see that my own joy brought ruin to others. But at the very least, I'm glad at the least, I was able to help you. I'm sorry, Mr. Ichinose. If I hadn't asked you for help, none of this would have ever happened. You would still have been you still would have been carrying on your research perfectly happily. Ichinose seems to summon all of his remaining strength before shaking his head. No. Asumi, I wanted to help you sooner. The sound of Ichinose's breathing ceases. Only the stench of blood remains. Ichinose is dead. Go back to the hallway. Ah, so bright. As I open the door, my face is illuminated by what seems to be an impossibly bright light. Oops, wrong button. A man with a flashlight is standing quietly and looking at me. It's Funabashi. So who is the guy who screamed? That must mean there's a fourth person. In his other hand, he holds a blood-stained knife. He must have been the one who stabbed Ichinose. Mr. Funabashi, you stabbed Mr. Ichinose? Looking more closely, I notice that the flashlight's not in his hand, but balanced on his shoulder. Funabashi is standing with his back to the wall. In fact, it looks like he's slumped against it. Something's dripping. The flashlight slips from his shoulder and he pitches forward, slumping to the ground. Mr. Funabashi! No, not you too! There is a fourth person in here. Picking up the flashlight, I turn it on him. Someone must have shot him at close range. I see a lot of blood coming from his head. He was probably killed instantly. The scream I heard before, it was Funabashi's. I can't stand it anymore. Someone help me. I look at Funabashi's face. It seems full of regret and angst. Mr. Funabashi, why? Why do you look so sad? In the basement lie the dead bodies of Ichinose and Funabashi. But who killed Funabashi? Return to the first floor, advance along the hallway. Oh! This must be what we needed to do. We still have 2 more doors to check though. I think this is gonna give me a game over, so I'm gonna choose this. I try to open the door leading to the first floor. It's no good. I can't open the door. Whoever killed Mr. Funabashi must have closed the door. Why didn't they kill me? Where should I go now?
Okay, so we have to go back. Alright. I thought that was gonna give me
An unfamiliar smell strikes my nostrils.
Ooh, interesting. Maybe the other way that would have given me a game over. I'm always expecting game overs to be really quick, but the story keeps going. To the mummy's room? To the room with the locked door. Mummy? Body of the pregnant woman? Okay. Search the... Oh.
I discover a small folded piece of letter paper. It looks like a formal document. On the front it bears the words, to Tomiko.
Read the letter.
Dear Tomiko, rest in peace. I am Asumi Kamijo, your true daughter. With my thesis, I will put an end to this vile laboratory. A ray of light came from somewhere and illuminated Tomiko's face. Reading this note, it doesn't occur to me to worry about who I might be. When I read it, all that I feel is an overwhelming sense of obligation. The fifth report. I must get it.
Interesting. I guess the locked door.
This is the disused seminar room.
Oh wait, was that this? I feel like we had 2 more doors though. Didn't we have 2 more doors? Oh no, we went past this and then there were 2 more. Okay, I was like, fade out to black, jump scare.
I remember there's a hidden door, but it was locked and I couldn't enter.
I thought that this was further down the hallway.
I'm starting to get a vague sense of who I am and what the security system is designed to detect. I should be able to enter now.
Identity, I'm not gonna do the voice for this one. Identity confirmed. Asumi Kamijo. Door unlocked.
I understand now how to open the door. This device not only analyzes a person's voice, but also analyzes a person's will. This door can't be opened by a person who is in a state of fear or under duress. The device unlocks the door only when a particular person attempts to enter of their own free will.
I feel like we're getting close to the end. I don't like this music. I don't like that. I don't like this distortion. Also, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Am I unmuted? I am. I'm back. I had to make sure I wasn't like muted or something. Also, I forgot I downloaded Savior of the Abyss too. So, I'm probably not gonna play that until later though. I might actually save that for Spooky Month, because that seems like an kind of like you run around. It seems like something that's really gonna make me die a little on the inside, because it seems like a survival horror game where you run around while things are chasing you, so.
It doesn't look like anyone is here. It's a small room, perhaps some sort of anteroom for the experiment lab. Is anybody here? Please show yourself. There's no sign of life. It looks like no one is here. What's that noise? From the rear of the room comes the whir of machinery. There's a monitor. It's a computer. It's a computer! Suddenly I feel a chill run up my spine.
Don't say that, Asami.
Anybody there?
Don't say that.
And then,
Somebody appears. I'm not looking. Oh? Hologram?
me?
Okay, this actually looks a lot more like her than the previous ones.
Is this a hologram? But this three-dimensional figure looks so real. Can it really be a hologram?
Authenticating. Identity confirmed. Asami Kamijo. Opening 5th report.
A computer monitor is turned on automatically. The fifth report is buried here, underground for so- Oh, the fifth report, buried here underground for so long, is finally about to be displayed.
Asami Kamijo.
The...
Seventh researcher hiding somewhere in this lab. The one they call...
Lab report, Asami Kamijo. This data is protected.
Oh, I'm just gonna read this normally, actually. Access is only possible from a specific IP address in the public prosecutor's office. Read the 5th report. I wonder, is this gonna be like... Oh, not what I was expecting. Background. This lab's origins go back more than 30 years. In an era when Japan enjoyed strong economic growth, this lab was built by certain men. I still don't know when this takes place. 30 years? 98, that's like the 60s. I guess that was like the start of the bubble economy. I feel like that was more like the end of the 80s though, is when it started crashing. I feel like that was like an 80s thing. Exactly who commissioned the construction of the lab remains unknown. Indeed, that individual has almost certainly passed on. Whatever the source, over $1 billion yen was invested in the lab, and the money kept on flowing. Mikazuka Lab was built in a deserted area near Taito University. Officially, it was always positioned as one of Taito's many postgraduate labs. The research conducted at Mikazuka Lab explored the very nature of humanity in a new way. The ultimate goal of the lab was to create and control human life. In other words, to play God. The areas of study were extremely disparate, but they all fell under one euphemistic umbrella: Integrated Human Development Studies, IHDS. The research was incredibly valuable, but occasionally it would cross ethical lines. Under a policy of absolute secret, they would recruit the most brilliant students. Most of the students had neither family nor relatives, which meant that even when they died, there was no one who would cry for them. This made them more likely to spend more time in the lab, focusing on their research. Moreover, it also helped prevent any fear of information leaks from the lab. And should one of its students, bothered by their conscience, betray the lab and its secrets? Well, the solution was simple. Just make it so they never existed. Remember, these people had no one who would cry upon learning of their death. There was no bereaved family to cast doubt upon the lab's official versions of the event. The IHDS research was not done in response to requests from the military or the like, and not all of the research conducted was unethical. The desire to know our origins and to create and control others is a uniquely human trait. I believe that all humans want to understand the structure of humanity. This is not a noble or cerebral desire, rather it is something that is driven more by instinct. Putting all my faith in instinct, but oh no, what have I done? What's the words? I say, cry. As evidence of this assertion, Mikazuka Lab experienced almost no dropouts. Students here were so devoted to their research that crossed ethical lines, myself included.
I did not believe that these students should be blamed for their ethical violations. They were simply doing what most of us would do in their situation. No, the blame lies with others. It is the purpose of this thesis to clarify where that blame lies. Additional remarks about the thesis. My research as a student of Mikazuka Lab is detailed in the latter half of this report. My research has yielded revolutionary results. It may even change the world. This achievement belongs to me alone. In addition, though, I will also accuse those in the lab guilty of the crime of murder. This program and this room are locked by my voice print. Until the day I am ready to make my accusations public, no one can see it but me. The voice recognition system responds not only to my voice, but also to my free will. Even if I am captured and made to unlock the door, the program will not respond. To erase the fifth report, one must erase the hard disk, which means that, together with the details of the crimes, my research will also be erased. Those who wish to learn of the achievements of my research cannot erase it. Should my intentions be found out, and I am killed, this fifth report will remain. That means, even if I die, there is a ray of hope. How I learned the truth. I was raised as the daughter of Takahiro Mikazuka, professor of this lab. I was also assigned to this lab as a research student, in the master's course officially. My father forced me to choose this path, but even without him, I would have done so. I have always known I was a scientist. I have been one since the day I was born. I know how science has enriched the lives of humans, and how many lives it has saved. I also know why truly revolutionary research often fails to win society's approval. I understood that the research my father and his students conducted was truly necessary. Even research regarded as heretical in its own time may prove invaluable in the future. Most of the time, it is too late to start researching when people need the technology. We love science and the people of the world. That served as our ethical code. Until that day, I knew nothing, but I was proud to work on such advanced research. I was devoted to my mission. Until that day, the day I went to the basement. It was almost as if I was tempted by an evil spirit. By chance, I found out where my father put his ID card, and my curiosity got the better of me. I opened the door to the basement, into which students were prohibited from venturing. There were layers of sealed doors. The whole thing was unlike anything else in the lab. In the back of the basement, I found a dead woman, her body dried up and sealed away. When I saw the body and the queer side of the room, I intuitively knew what was happening here. Then, I felt someone standing behind me, trembling with fear, my father, Takahiro Mikazuka. He looked like he didn't know what to do with me. I think the choice I made that day was the right one. I accepted all I saw there. Then, I asked my father if I could conduct research in the underground lab myself. Thereafter, it became usual for me to go down to the basement and work there. I will write about my research and why it received the lab's approval later on. While I carried out my research in the underground lab, I also investigated the lab's past. Many lives were lost while still in fetus or infant form, born to a surrogate mother, Tomiko. But after further investigation, I discovered there were several who were still alive. One of them suffers from Wergen syndrome because he was born from a special fertilized egg from which he was originally born. He was named Shinichi. I couldn't find any information about Tomiko, but I know she gave birth to many children. I did some research into a certain child she gave birth to. The child's genes were identical to those of a genius scientist, the long dead. In other words, this child was born as a clone of that extraordinary scientist. Tomiko's child, the clone of the scientist. It was me, Asumi Kamijo. For my mother, Tomiko, who gave birth to me and died unhappily, I decided to write this fifth report. Now that I know the secrets of this lab, I'm considered dangerous by the mastermind behind the lab. The reason I'm still alive is because my research is valuable to them, but my betrayal of them may be discovered at any time, and I could be killed. There might not be a chance to give this fifth report to the relevant parties. Past crimes and criminals. Yozo Akada, the former Minister of Education, was behind everything that happened. We saw him earlier with Yumino. The one who actually accepted the funds and continued the research was Takahiro Mikazuka. And this was when I was born, so more than 20 years ago now. Recently, clone technology has earned more acceptance. At the time, though, even animal cloning was abhorred, let alone the idea of cloning human beings. The principle of cloning technology wasn't difficult. The technology even existed back then. They implanted fertilized eggs which had their genes manipulated into a surrogate mother. However, records suggest they made many more children from 2 sets of genes. 1 female and 1 male set. As for what happened to those other clones, I do not know. They had another person who was his assistant at the time. He, Assistant Professor Haibara, also knew the facts and was greatly involved in the experiment. Tamiko, surrogate mother. So many children were born to satisfy intellectual curiosity and died so very young. Some of the researchers never knew the truth, and yet were killed to keep the lab's secrets. Unless the hammer of justice is brought down upon Yozo Akita, there will still be more victims. What Akita is currently getting the lab to do, and what Assistant Professor Haibara is up to now. The lab's secretiveness has meant that I do not know the answers to these mysteries. But if I don't let the world know about this lab, it will continue to be a danger to the innocent. Water break. What to do with this report? Even if this 5th report is known, Akita may suppress the truth with his great power. He might even pressure the police department. There is hope that the media will expose the truth, and the public will force an investigation. At that time, I may no longer be alive, but Shinichi will be available to testify. I hope Mikazuka Lab and Akita will be investigated, and the world will learn the truth. While he has Wergen syndrome, Shinichi is aware of the truth behind all of this. The first step is to secure Shinichi's safety, and allow him to tell his story. His evidence should prove the allegations contained within this 5th report. Is it Kakizaki? I pray that Yozo Akita and the others will be brought to justice by good people. I also pray for those poor souls who have died in this place, that they may rest in peace. As is customary at the end of a thesis, I would like to thank those who have helped me. All of the students in this lab were pure-hearted in their desire to help the world. Most of them were unaware of the possibility that their research could be misused. Among those students, Mr. Shina has helped me a lot. In his own understated way, he was very kind. He took care of me on several occasions. I often felt him keeping a gentle eye on me. Maybe he had an inkling of what I was going to do. I remember that Mr. Kakizaki almost found out about my mission. Had he known my secret, I know he would not have handled it. I'm glad that he never knew. They and younger students who will come out later are all pure of heart. Their only fault is their naivete. All of them have ambition and wish to produce research that will help the human condition. If they are accursed as a result of this document, I want it known that they are blameless. I want to mention Takahiro Mikazuka, my adopted father who both created and raised me. He committed a serious crime and he must pay for his actions. I know that he regrets his actions. A man of science, he lost sight of his own moral compass. My father is a pure scientist, but he is also a weak man. It is an indisputable fact that he did as Akito told him to do, and that is a terrible sin. But it is also a fact that he raised me well. It is the love of science he taught me that makes me unable to forgive what the lab has done. And now, I'm writing this thesis. It is quite possible that I owe all I am to him. When he talked about science, about his research, he was so passionate and so gentle. When I found the dead body in the basement, I agreed to cover up his crime. The look I saw in his eyes was not relief, but despair. I couldn't look him in the eye. His love for science had driven him to cross the line, and I know he was ashamed. I felt like he did not want me, his daughter, to make the same mistake. But he is a weak man. He does not have the strength to repent for his sins and come clean. That is why I must do this instead of him. He must be judged. But I want him to know just how hard this is for me to do. When this 5th report is completed, I do not know whether he will seek to suppress it, or whether he will embrace me as my father. Thinking these thoughts here in this gloomy basement, and typing this thesis, I feel like I am powerless to resist the binds of fate. I feel like my fate has been determined ever since the day that I was born. Because I am a believer in science, I believe that all phenomena can be explained by scientific principles. Indeed, I believe all activity in the universe is explicable by science. However, I believe there is one exception: human fate. That is up to the individual and to God. I do not wish for there to be any more people like myself whose fate is determined at birth. I want, at least, the curious case of my life to have some meaning. I hope that the publication of this 5th report will make that happen. Asumi Kamijo. Got 5th report. Reread a chapter? No, I think I got it. After carefully putting the CD-ROM away, I shut down the computer. The figure of Asumi reappears. Its gaze lands upon another door, with the same authentication system. Beyond the door is a staircase. The staircase seems to lead to the area outside the lab. The sunlight's too bright. I feel like such a long time has passed since Ichinose and I went underground at night. But it's still the same day, albeit early afternoon. Alright, technically I guess it was after midnight, wasn't it? Where am I? I return to the lab. I recall one of the key passages of the 5th report. Even if the 5th report is known, Akira may suppress the truth. Yup. Shinichi. Yup. Shinichi, where is he? Wergen syndrome? I've never heard of it. Just then, someone emerges from the building. Is it the professor? They're gone. Who was that? The door to the admin office is locked. Okay. There's nobody here, no Yumino, not even the cat. Joining December 22nd. That should be... today. Right? If yesterday was the 21st, we waited until midnight. This is also locked? Okay. I guess they just want me to leave. I assume they just want me to leave. No one's using the library. Check the notice board. It's all the same. Okay. Think. I searched in the library, but nothing came up. What else can I check? The next one is probably the computer room. Computer room, big computer, database. Wergen syndrome. A rare autosomal recessive syndrome characterized by the appearance of premature aging. External symptoms of aging begin to appear in the patient's teenage years. Is that Kanematsu? Genes controlling the aging process have been damaged through mutation. The result is that a 20-year-old man may have the appearance of a 60-year-old. It is Kanematsu. This means Shinichi is... It better... Yeah, there we go. This is... A note was on the floor where he was. I'll be waiting near the flower bed. Shinichi. Well, let's go to the student space for fun. In the basement, Mr. Ichinose, he... Oh, wait, what happened? What about Kaori? Ichinose's dead, Shina's dead, Kakazaki's dead, Funabashi's dead, and Yumino's missing. I'm gonna check hers last. Okay, I think this is all gonna be pretty much the same. Oh, Mr. Funabashi? This morning, I thought I saw Funabashi killed in the basement. But is he here? I'm starting to doubt everything. Is this some sort of dream? The supposedly dead Funabashi glances at me. I get out of there as quickly as I possibly can. But what if I went back? Okay, Kaori. Okay, so she's still not here. So she bailed after we saw her at the basement. And Funabashi's supposedly there. So Funabashi's the only one in the student space. Somebody's waiting for me at the corner of the garden. It is Shinichi, the only survivor of those born in the underground laboratory. Kanematsu is waiting there. Mr. Kanematsu, you're Shinichi, aren't you? Kanematsu is silent. Looking carefully at his eyes, I can see they have the youthful purity of a young boy. Maybe his occasional bouts of mania are a frustrated expression of that purity. As I wait for his words, I recall the time when he told me who owned the locket. At that time, he also had that purity in his eyes. That was the real him. When he finally speaks, he appears calm, but he talks as if in a dream. Well done. I was born here 20 years ago, the result of an experiment in genetic manipulation. I was born in Mikazuka Lab. I grew up in Mikazuka Lab. I tried to escape once, but when I was caught, I was badly beaten. I've been here ever since. Ha ha ha! Even if I did get out, I'd be treated as a lunatic. My disease is a very rare one. No matter where I go, I will never be treated as normal. But since I've always been here, I know all about this lab. But nobody listens to me. I don't have the energy left to resist against the lab. I just want to live out the rest of my life in peace. Mr. Kanematsu, Shinichi, I want to know. Please talk to me. I'll tell the world all about this lab. I found the 5th report in the basement. You. Impossible. I'll tell the world about the murders and unethical research that this lab has carried out. It's impossible. Whatever you may think you can do, you cannot. Akta can control the police. There will not be enough proof. The case will be dropped. That's why I need your help, for the sake of those people who gave their lives. Shinichi looks down and sadly shakes his head. I can't do it. Even if I help you, the end result will be the same. They'll think I'm a lunatic, even if people understand my condition. No concrete proof exists that I was artificially created in this lab. Those liars can easily make up some fake documents. I have fictitious parents, too. If we were to go public, everyone would think we were making everything up. Besides, it will not be easy to escape from here. Akata doesn't care about people's lives. If he wants, he can have you killed at any time. I'm curious how you have managed to survive this long. They all helped you. Mr. Shino was a good person. He wouldn't say this, of course, but he loved Asumi. Asumi from the past, I mean. But he loved you too. I knew Mr. Shino would be murdered. I prayed that he wouldn't help you. I thought it was fate when you showed me the locket. And I knew Mr. Shino would help you. I also knew, as a result of that, Mr. Shino would be killed. He spent so long blaming himself when Asumi was murdered 4 years ago. That's why Mr. Shino tried to help you. That's also why Akuta's people had their eye on him as a dangerous element. Mr. Kakazaki was the same too. He was tormented by the incident of 4 years ago. I don't know what I'm doing with his voice. You've done very well, but you must have been aware that you have had help. Right. On the night of the 20th, the person who shot Maiko. And in the basement, there was another person. More than that. Akuta's movements have always been monitored to make sure no harm comes to you. You have read the 5th report, yet you still haven't asked the most important question. Are you so obsessed with looking outward? What about yourself? Can you look at yourself in the mirror? I have never been able to do that, but I think that you can. If you leave here now, you will be killed. Killed by an assassin created by Akta. You should go to Haibara's office. The assistant professor's office? Yes, if you go there, or I'm not sure, but you might. Will Assistant Professor Haibara help me? No, I can't tell you that. But I can tell you that Haibara hates Akata and Professor Mikazuka. He's looking forward to claiming his revenge against them. Will he back my story if I come forward using the 5th report? His plan for revenge has already begun. Take a closer look at the wall there. You should find a way to get into his office. But I don't know if that will be a good thing for you or not, Asumi. You called me by name. Did you know me? The me of 4 years ago. Did you call me by name then? Yes, I did, Asumi. I remember. I was crying, but I couldn't stop you. Asumi. Don't die, Asumi. Ah. Asumi. Asumi. I couldn't tell if he was crying or just like... There's a small entrance, hidden from view to all but the most careful observers. Enter Professor... yes, we will. Of course we will. Or we could just get killed. We could just die again. This is the assistant professor's office. It looks like no one's here. I better take a quick look around. What is this feeling? I've seen this before. Somewhere. Strange, I've never come to this place before. It's the study. It's her dad's study at the beginning of the game. I know the person who uses this room well. Who is that person? How do I know them? Search the bookshelf. All these books look far too difficult for me to understand. Wait. A small piece of paper is attached to the side of the shelf. It has some numbers written on it. There's something about it. I wonder what it is. They're written small, but the numbers look familiar. That's what it is. These numbers are my sister's apartment phone number. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Coincidence? All 8 digits are the same. What is this? The monitor is still turned on. A text format database is displayed. I stare at the data. Loading and displaying database. We used to fight as children. We fought over the TV. I wanted to watch cartoons, and you wanted to watch some difficult science program. In the end, I'd always burst into tears, and you'd always let me watch what I wanted. My father was busy, so it was always just us in the house. Always just the 2 of us. We used to go to the festival every summer. Always together, you smiling beside me, wearing the same yukata. But one year, we stopped going. Instead, a boy came to pick you up. I knew you liked that boy. I used to stand by the door watching you. You and I, we always had the most fun on special occasions. This memory always makes me laugh. One Christmas Eve, because Father wasn't home, you tried to be Santa Claus. You put a gift behind my pillow after I fell asleep. But as you were creeping away, you stepped on my body. It was so funny. I remember afterwards you said you thought I still believed in Santa, so you had to do it. Even I knew Santa wasn't real. The teddy bear you gave me that day. I've been taking good care of it. What is this? No. No way. This must be a trick. What does this mean? My memories are in this computer? No, the data in this computer is the full extent of your memory. You've always known that. What? Someone appears from behind me and clamps a cloth to my mouth. I'm losing consciousness. How could I have missed it? They were hiding there since I came in. No, not only now. I've been watching you for a long time. As my consciousness fades, it suddenly comes to me who this person is. I knew I recognized you from the very first time I saw you. What do you know about me, Miss Cowrie? Wow, the bait and switch. Another Cowrie getting bait and switched by another Cowrie. Can't catch a break. First World's End Syndrome, now this game? Dang. December 23rd. The Truth Told by Cowrie.
Yeah, so it was the 22nd. He was supposed to be here today. That means that Kaori also intentionally, like, lied when she said he won't be here for a few more days. It was like, no, like 3 more days. He was supposed to be here, like, the next day. What voice did I give her? Are you awake? Where am I? I look around myself. When I try to get up, I realize my head still hurts. It looks like a hospital room. It seems this is the Taito University Hospital. Do you remember this room? Yes. I was hurt in a car accident. That's right. After you lost consciousness, this was the room you were taken to. I think by now you already know the truth. That you have no sister. And I think you also have a good idea of how you were born. No, I don't. What are you talking about? What do you know about me? I don't really like to talk about the past, but it seems you need it spelled out for you. Just do your best to face reality, as unpleasant as it may be. Her voice is calm and clear. I find myself quietly listening to her tale. Like most of the students in the lab, I grew up with no parents and no family. The lab chooses orphans who show particular aptitude and molds them as it sees fit. That's how all the students are recruited. I was discovered by Dr. Haibara. Dr. Haibara was planning to do some groundbreaking research, even by IHDS standards. He said he needed me for that research. Just after I was officially assigned to the lab, I met you for the first time. I was led by Dr. Haibara to a hospital room which was secretly controlled by him. When I saw the girl in that room, I let out a gasp. The girl was a spitting image of Asumi Kamijo. Surprised? This is the daughter that Mikazuka was secretly raising. She's a clone of Asumi Kamijo who should not exist. I discovered that he was hiding this clone from us. I took it and protected it here. This is a person who should never have existed in the first place. That's why he had to give up the search. At the time, I didn't know Mikazuka Lab had the necessary technology to produce clones. Certainly I was shocked, but there was something else that shocked me even more. I stared at that girl, all curled up in a little ball. Or perhaps it would be more accurate to say that I couldn't take my eyes off her. I sensed no life, no will. Her eyes were like empty holes. She was just like a doll. I don't know how to put it, but I was overcome with sadness looking at her. This was the first time we met. It was born as a clone, and I've been raising it for a long time. She'll be the perfect guinea pig to test a new chip I've been developing. If the chip works as it should, I'll send her in to Mikazuka Lab as Asumi Kamijo. All going well, she'll be able to secure information to take down Mikazuka and his dogs. And even if it doesn't work that well, she's bound to make them panic, that's for sure. I once fell victim to his schemes and lost my research and my position. I'll use her as my trump card to get him out of the lab. A girl who was born as a clone and raised as a guinea pig. A doll with vacant eyes. A girl who didn't know love and who had no emotion. When I saw her, I was shocked, but I quickly came to terms with what it all meant. I told myself I was just dealing with a doll, and I started on my research. Under Dr. Haibara's guidance, I created data for a chip to be embedded into her head. That data is on the hard drive you find in Dr. Haibara's office. And a year ago, you had surgery to embed a cranial nerve connecting chip into your head. I made all the data in your chip. It contains several memory programs, as well as some simple logic programs. A sister who is supposed to be a doctoral student at Mikazuka Lab. For the people at the lab, your sister would be an Asumi Kamijo, who was silenced 4 years ago. She was your original form. Other than that, though, you shouldn't have been able to recall any memories. Trying to remember your sister made you feel ill, did it not? That is because the chip was programmed to emit an unpleasant signal.
and this made you subconsciously avoid thinking of your sister. I mean, you've been looking for your missing sister, yet you don't even know her name. But you couldn't think about it because it would frighten you. Your sister's apartment, where you're staying now, and the key? I prepared all of that. I also left a message on the answering machine. Find the 5th report. Kaori's matter-of-fact tone makes it sound like my very existence is being denied. You're lying. That's enough. You're a horrible person. What you're saying is understandable, and maybe it even is true. But calm yourself for a moment and open your eyes to reality. You were a guinea pig, and of course, you never had a sister. Wait, call my father. My father will help me. Shaking her head sadly, Kaori sighs, then adds a final comment. He'll be here, soon. After a while, the door is opened again and a man walks in. Father, you came back for me. Dr. Haibara, I've secured Asumi Kamijo and recovered the 5th report. Keep everything quiet. After everything is over, I'll kill her too. No, it can't be. The image you have in the back of your head of your loving father? It belongs to Professor Haibara, who raised you as a clone. The image is too strong to be removed by the cranial nerve connecting chip. So instead, I used your emotion and modulated your memory just a little bit. I changed your image of him from a scientist experimenting on guinea pigs to a loving father. Whenever you recall Dr. Haibara, my program ensures that you only think positive thoughts. Kaori, it's time to go. I'll turn in the 5th report in front of the library. Since the place is crowded, there's nothing that they can do to us there. Yes, sir. I took the 5th report a little while ago. Good work. I got everything I wanted now, just as I planned. This is Asumi Kamijo's thesis that even the mighty Octa has never been able to acquire. Fantastic. We must get to the meeting place at once. Make sure she can't get away. After we're done, I'll finish her off for good. Understood, sir. Let's go. Dr. Haibara, it's almost time. Is your journalist friend not here yet? Is it possible that Octa knows about this? I don't think so. I think we're fine, but... Wait, my cell phone is ringing. Hello? What? What's going on?
What's wrong?
Give it to me. I don't like this, Professor. This is no place for a meeting. It's just too empty. What? Where are you now? Huh? Were you just told me to come on the phone to come by the pond, like you said? No, I never said that. I said in the quadrangle. Well, at first that's what you said, yeah. But then you called again and changed the meeting place to the pond. That's why I'm waiting here. But it's far too dangerous. I don't like it. You said there are people who want to crush this 5th report, right? Listen, I know about this sort of thing. I can smell danger all around here. Huh? I can hear a phone ringing. Is somebody there? You! What's going on? All of you, you're the They beat us to the punch. It's too late to go to the pond. We have no choice. We have to retreat for now. As long as I'm safe and the 5th report is secure, we can leak it to the media anytime. For now, we need to get to a busier place. Make sure we're not being followed. Yes, sir. Look around. The gloomy hospital room. Car accident. Think over the situation. I have a strange scar on my head, hit my head in the ground, scar came from that. The hardest thing I've ever done. Okay, well, I guess we rest now. I didn't read that out because I didn't think it was actually going to be that much, but then she ended up saying a lot of stuff. Dozing off, I begin to dream. The dream is the release of an awful memory, buried deep within my mind. Okay, this is the first trial. Hope this works as well as the simulation. Yes. There may be 1 or 2 issues with the emotional core. That's fine. Whatever happens, it's just a guinea pig anyway. If you're ready, I'll begin the operation. Are you feeling any after effects of your car accident? I'm fine. To be honest, I don't really remember the accident. That's just a little temporary memory loss. Nothing to worry about at all. After you leave the hospital, you can go back to your life as it was before. Thank you very much. I must call my father and my sister. Yes, I think that's probably a very good idea. I'm sure they must be waiting to hear the good news. Huh? I don't think Haibara's chances are looking very good, to be honest. I think it may be time to cut my losses. I'm sorry to do this to you, but I'm afraid your existence poses a threat to my safety. Is she getting strangled? I assume she's getting strangled. Finally, Haibara's research will be buried for good. Feels like a bit of a waste, really. Game over. Oh. Interesting. Remember. Just remember. We used to fight as children, blah blah blah. Yeah. All my memories of her are the same. I always remember her as a kind, caring sister. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not reading that. We've seen it a bajillion times. I don't even know my sister's name. My image of her is ephemeral, vague. I want to remember more, but I can't. Whenever I try, the same thing happens. I wouldn't think about her unless you want to die. A terrifyingly empty voice echoes in my brain. And to avoid that fear, I started to avoid thinking about her at all. Yeah. Reaching this far back into my memory, I realized something very important. The teddy bear. It was a gift. That's right, I got this bear from my sister. This memory isn't artificial. My body is fixed in place by some sort of belt across the bed. I can't go outside now. If I unlock it, I may be able to escape. Use a hairpin. After rattling the hairpin around the lock for a while, it catches and unlocks with a click. Now I can get out of here. My head is still woozy, but... The area of the campus, it's winter break. Is that... Mr. Funabashi? He's walking away from me. What is he doing here? It may be dangerous to follow him. Perhaps I should go back to my room.
We're gonna follow Funabashi.
Where is he heading? Funabashi is walking away from the hospital and is headed towards the quadrangle. Mr. Funabashi? Huh? My head must not be right yet. There are two of him? Is my mind playing tricks on me? It looks like there are two Funabashis. They seem to be discussing something. I catch a glimpse into their conversation. Hibari, Kaori. I do not notice that as well as these two, there's a third Funabashi standing behind me.
Dun dun!
Of course, they must be. They were born in the basement too.
Ah. Okay. So...
Sensing danger, I abandoned my pursuit of him. I should go back inside. Funabashi might have noticed me. I thought he glanced in my direction for just a moment. Somehow, heading outside has calmed me down. I realize that thinking will not solve anything. I feel sleepy.
I feel like this is a big trial and error.
Funabashi? Why, you...
So it's you, Funabashi. Die. A gunshot echoes. It did it for me. So easy.
This was your fault, Kaori. You should have taken care of him in the basement. That just leaves Maiko, whom you also failed to kill. It seems we finally managed to identify who Octa's spies within the lab were. Dr. Haibara, behind you! What? Ugh. Ah! Why? How are there so many of them? No, this can't be happening. Not to me! Damn it all. I had the 5th report. I could have had everything I wanted. Dr. Haibara? No, it's too late. Huh. Funabashi. There's more than one of him from the very beginning. Funabashi and Maiko. There have been several copies of each operating all along. Clones. It's no good. I can't escape. We've lost. The 5th report. What should I do with this? What should I do as my final act? As I wake up again, I feel anger and frustration toward my cursed existence, but I know I cannot change it. For the first time, I am able to think about things calmly. I am a clone of Asumi Kamijo. She was the researcher of Professor Mikozuka, and a brilliant researcher in her own right. She tried to bring the lab's crimes to light, but was killed. She did, however, leave the 5th report. What's going on? There we go. The 5th report contains details of both her own research and the crimes committed by the lab. Because of the revolutionary nature of the research, she knew no one in the lab would erase it. There we go. Okay, I just changed something. Furthermore, the 5th report could only be acquired by the conscious will of Asumi Kamijo. That's why I was the only one who could get my hands on it, because I am her. I can't believe Miss Kaori was behind this. My memories, every time I tried to recall, they were the same. Sis, my memories match the text in Assistant Professor Haibara's file word for word. Nothing ever changes. These memories that were always what gave me the strength to move forward. And now I learn they aren't even real. They're just a data file. All just artificially created data. Data for an experiment of a cranial nerve connecting chip, all made to throw the lab into chaos. Still, why are all of my memories so sweet and heartwarming? They gave me strength. Through all my struggles, those memories helped me make it this far. They may have been fake, but the happiness they brought me was undeniably real. Never for a moment did I doubt the existence of my sister. That certainty, it wasn't because of the chip. That's right. What about this bear? These awkward stitches are proof that my sister made it for me. Strange. What about this bear? Why do I have it? With these thoughts humming around my head, I find myself dozing off one more time. I can feel the locked doors of my memory gradually starting to open. Asumi, sorry I'm late. You didn't feel lonely? Not at all, because I have you. Sis, you're strange. Why do you ask me like that? I'm smiling. I could make this kind of face. It's strange. It's like I'm somewhere else and I'm watching myself. I remember it very well. I was surrounded by warm feelings, so I thought I was a happy person and didn't doubt it. After I saw that resume, I didn't know who I was anymore. I was almost crushed by anxiety, yet I never lost myself. That's because I always had someone by my side who genuinely cared about me. Is this all a created memory? It can't be. Suddenly, the door is flung open. Dr. Haibara has been killed. It's all over. We lost. Akata doesn't know about this place yet. You need to go now. Run as far away as you possibly can. I suppose you must be enjoying this. We created you for our own selfish purposes, and now we've been destroyed. I stare hard at Kaori's face. She holds my gaze, staring back at me unflinchingly. Miss Kaori, I have a question. If I didn't have a sister, then why do I have this teddy bear? This is a gift from my sister. This is the toy bear which my sister made for me. It's the only one of its kind. But I never had a sister. All my memories are fake. But now, why? Why do I have this teddy bear? I can't believe you still have this. It's silly, really. That bear, I made it. Does that explanation satisfy you? I needed to create something that would serve as a more convincing memory, that's all. I thought as much. I'm glad to hear it. I remember the day you gave me this toy bear. That's not possible. Your original memory should all have been erased. When my sister gave this to me, she was crying. I'm sorry. I know you must feel all alone. Soon you'll have surgery. But don't worry, you'll be happy soon. Wait, just a little while longer. That was why I never doubted that I had a sister. The reason I never gave up. The reason I always believed my sister was out there. It wasn't because of the memories you implanted. It was because I had the memory of you, Miss Kaori. Not only that, I can't remember now, but I believe that I'm much happier than I used to be. The memory of being with my sister made me happy. I recall so many happy times. Even though those memories were made by you, they still gave me the greatest joy. I like to think that you meant that to happen all along. I believe that you wished for me to find happiness in my own way. I want to thank you. Kaori continues to stare unblinkingly at my face. Suddenly, the silence is broken by a vibrating sound. It's an incoming text message on Kaori's phone. She checks it with a grim expression on her face. I got a text from the Watcher telling me to hand over the 5th report. The Watcher? Someone pretending to be a student is sneaking into the lab at the behest of Yozo Akta, who controls the Mikozuka lab. Are you talking about Mr. Funabashi or Maiko? No, they're not. They're just taking orders under mind control. The Watcher is much closer to Akta. Probably his own child. That person is the one who contacted you? Looks like they've got this place figured out too. They're coming here now, and I'm going to hand over the 5th report. I'm staying here. You should leave here. No, it's dangerous. I'm staying here too. No, you can't. If you stay, you'll hinder the deal. I've already told you the truth about your sister that you came to the lab and asked for, so you have no more reason to stay here. Hurry up and go. Your journey's already over. She said in a business-like tone of voice that gave me no room to argue with her. But the Watcher will kill her, and the report will be taken away from her. She's not unaware of this. Perhaps now that Assistant Professor Haibara is dead, it seems she has no desire to even survive anymore. You're right, Kaori. My journey is already over, so I have to go home. The purpose of my journey was to find my missing beloved sister. But that fizzled out when everything was revealed. Originally, there was no entity I was looking for, so I have no reason to be here. Why am I still unable to leave? Is it because I have nowhere to go? Not really. I still have things to do. Once I was faced with the fact that my sister didn't exist, I fell into the depths of despair. But then I realized that there was someone who looked out for me like a sister. Now I'm filled with warmth. I'm glad I went on this journey. So now I have to protect her. Go, now. Kaori. I'll wait here with the 5th report. You're the one who should run away in the meantime. This time, I said firmly to her, I wanted my determination to be understood so I would not be refuted. Why? Why are you staying? The fifth report is mine to begin with, so I'm not going to give it to you. But why? I won't be happy if I'm the only one who survives. I realized I didn't come to the lab to find out the truth, but I came here to find my sister and for the two of us to go home together. We're running out of time. Kaori, please go now. I don't want both of us to be killed. Okay. She gave me the CD-ROM containing the fifth report. She seemed to have mumbled something, but I couldn't catch it. She's about to open the door to the hospital room with her back to me. I would never see her again. I couldn't control my sudden burst of emotions and screamed, "Sis!" She turned around in surprise. Sorry. Without saying a word, she opened the door and walked quickly away. I stared at her back as if I could memorize the sight in my eyes. She didn't look back and closed the door. Now all I have to do is wait for the Watcher. I prepare myself for my fate that is about to happen. But I'm happy for this, because that is what I had traveled for. I was not scared. I would have lost my life earlier, but everyone saved me. I look casually out the window. Within the vast campus of Taito University, there's a forest, and at the far end of it I see a pond. For some reason, I feel ominous when I see the pond filled with dark green water. What is that? For a moment, I thought I saw Kaori in a hut built on the edge of the pond, but she was soon out of sight from a distance. I changed my mind as much as possible and prepared to confront the Watcher. Why? No one has come yet. I've been waiting for half an hour already. The Watcher, who was supposed to come and take the report, didn't come here. This is strange. Maybe the situation has changed. What should I do?
Head for the pond. Let's just send. Full send.
I gave up on meeting the Watcher and left the hospital. Left the hospital and headed down the road toward the pond. It seemed as if I had seen her through the window earlier, but when I got to the spot, there was no sign of anyone. Nobody's here? I can see footprints on the soil. These are hers. There's no doubt that she walked here some time ago. This is her cell phone. Her phone is on the ground. It doesn't look as if she put it there on purpose. Looking at the screen, it seems she just finished sending a message. The message is short and says it will be given to the Watcher at the pond hut. No way. She changed the meetup point to a different spot. How come?
Da-dung! Hurry to the spot where the shot was fired. Yumino!
I ran as fast as I could on the trackless road in the direction where the gunshot came from. As I ran, my body hit the trees and my feet were coated with dirt. I reached the place as I rolled down the path. I could feel someone's here. Without a second thought, I broke into the trees. Kaori!
Dun-dun-dun!
Kaori, why? Oh, well. Why do you keep following me? Thank you for looking for me. That's enough. I'm glad you found me. I was the same. What? I was lonely too. But now I know I wasn't. So I'm glad I did this. You're my sister, even if you're not related by blood. I had a family. I wish this time could have lasted forever. You called me your sister. In truth, you were my emotional support too. Because of me, I couldn't do anything. No, Asumi, you gave me so much. Not only that time, even now, you'll always be my sister. She breathed her last in my arms. I saw an envelope in her pocket. It had a sticker of a cute bear on it. I read the letter. Dear,
she kind of looks like the old lady in Virtue's Last Reward, like her outfit.
Dear Asumi, Asumi, it's very hard for me to talk directly to you. It's too painful. Instead, I wrote a letter. Asumi, it's true you were born as a clone, a copy of another person. But despite that, it is you who have lived your life and formed your character. You are your own person. You should not worry about how you were born. Your body and your right to life are the same as any other person. You have your life and should try to find happiness for yourself. I'm sorry, Asami. Just as I thought, you're a kind woman, and you are much stronger than I anticipated. I believe you have the strength to overcome your fate. Asami, my precious sister, please, be happy. Kaori Hayashitani. The last sentence of the letter is scribbled as if in a hurry. The words are also blurred with moisture and quite hard to read. Kaori. Asami, my precious sister, please, be happy. No way, that's the end. There's gotta be something more. Who? Is someone there? I know it's someone from the lab. You must be the one who shot her. I may get shot too. It's Yumino. Kaori, I'm sorry. It's the life you saved me, and now I can't do anything. Asami, watch out! Just as I was about to make up my mind, I heard a familiar voice. Is this voice... Asami. Oh, I can't do his voice now. I've been talking too long. Asami, I'm glad you're safe. Yumino. Asami, I'll explain later. Now let's get out of here right away. We should be fine once we get here. Asami, stay away from the lab now. Even if I'm alive, Kaori will be. I'm sorry, but it was too late. Asami, it's not your fault at all. Mr. Ichinose also died in the basement. Mr. Shina and Mr. Kazaki both. As I told you before, this lab's not normal. It finally turned out this way. Why was Kaori targeted? She was in conflict with former Minister Akta, who was in charge of the laboratory with Assistant Professor Hibara. You think she was targeted because of that? She said that one of her students was a relative of former Minister Akta who was monitoring the lab. Someone who is monitoring? Who do you think that is? Do I get a choice? It's Yumino. Like, do I get is this an actual choice that I get? It's Yumino. What? What are you talking about? Just now, after you came, I was able to escape much safer. If he wanted to, he could have shot me at any time. The only reason he didn't is because someone was stopping him. Asami, what are you saying? That's the reason you're trying to... All the students in the lab were killed. Akta and his group would not mercy students in order to protect their secret. It's strange that you're the only one at that pond where Kaori was shot. Tell me about it, Yumino. That's right. Yumino is my mother's surname. I am the son of Yozo Akta. That's why I'm in this lab. I'm the one who's watching over you. I want to ensure your safety. Can you give me that report? I knew you came for the 5th report, but I can't give it to you. You're right. If you don't give me the report, you'll be shot at any time at my discretion. You want to take the report from me? I don't care. This report is what Ichinose and Kaori risked their lives for. I can't give it to you. You can't choose. Either you lose your only report, or you lose your life and you lose your report as well. You have 2 choices. You know they're relentless, don't you? I silently gave the 5th report to him. I thought I still had something to do with the life I got saved by everyone. After taking the 5th report, he headed in the direction of the Mikazuka lab and disappeared. In my disappointment, I remembered the cat. Was all his behavior an act? I was curious and headed for the laboratory. The entrance to the laboratory building is closed. There's no doubt that he's gone inside. I had no choice but to head for the incinerator. There must have been a kitten that he had around here. Oh! Shinichi, good. Haha! That's Mickey Mouse. What? You must have been so scared to be relieved to see me. You found about Yumino, didn't you? Yes, he is the son of Yozo Akta. He's also a special member of the lab. He has not been coming to the lab since the day before yesterday and has been researching something. He just came back and gave me a kitten. He told me to leave the lab immediately. Oh, what is he trying to do? What is about to happen? I have no idea, but it may have something to do with Professor Mikuzuka, who just returned from a week's business trip. He's back? Professor Mikuzuka also told me to go out. Right now, none of the lab members or office staff are there. He has something on his mind. You especially should not get involved. That's what everyone is thinking, including the students who are not here now. You were targeted because of the report, but now that Yumino has it, no one should worry about you anymore. I guess we could say he saved you if you think about it. It's best you just go home. Would you be willing to take the kitten, if you like? Yes, that's fine. Head for the lab. Shinichi, I'm not leaving after all. I'm going to enter the lab now. Hasumi, why? You won't make it back safely this time. I've been saved all my life, so now I want to save the students in the lab. I don't want to lose any more people in the lab. The people I met in Mikuzuka lab were precious to me. Shinichi, I'm going. Please take care of the kitty, just for now. Asumi, don't worry, I'll be back. Okay, I'll show you the back entrance to the lab. Good luck. I entered the lab through the back door that Shinichi showed me. Yumino! Asumi, why are you here? I couldn't leave you alone after all. And at first, it was you who listened to me when I was in trouble. Oh, but I took the report from you. I even put you in danger. Why? After all, I wasn't even shot. I'm alive and well. I thought maybe you were in your place to help me. Besides, Shinichi told me you were going to do something. I felt you were taking a risk. I don't think a person who would let a kitten go for that is a bad person. Asumi, I am no doubt the son of Yozo Akta. Even if you think I'm good, it doesn't make any difference. But I'm different from my father. He looked at me as if he had made some kind of decision. Perhaps he would tell me what was in his mind that he'd been hiding? I'm going to blow up this whole lab building now. What? This was originally Professor Mikuzuka's plan. I was a part of it, and I've been working on it in secret. Why did he plan? I don't have time to explain in detail, but it was you who pushed me to do it. The entrance to the building is... Oh no, it was supposed to be closed. Yumino! Armed men appear from the outside of the building and surround us. From among them, the man who seemed to be the mastermind of the series of events finally showed up. Well done. Get the report, shut the girl up, and that's it. So it's all pretty much as planned. Without the report, it's just an accident no matter what Mikuzuka plans. Oh no, Yumino! What's wrong? Come here quickly. The muzzle of Akuta's men pointed at me. What? Another weird sentence. Yumino, go back. It's still safe now. Asumi, I'll never... I know. I believe in you. That's why I want you to go. I want to protect the people in the lab. I've been protected all this time. I've had enough of that. Yumino, please. Let me protect you this time. I'm sorry, Asumi. He left me and went toward Akta. The muzzle of the gun aims at me more sharply. It's a smart decision. You'll eventually take over this laboratory. I saw Akta about to raise his hand to signal them. I closed my eyes. Yumino sharply put his arms around Akta's neck and tightened it. Wait! Ugh, you! Akta was in agony as his son was choking him. The men around him are unable to cope with the unexpected change of situation. Asumi, go! Don't shoot. You don't care what happens to this guy? Well, that wasn't his voice at all. I won't forgive you. Asumi, hurry. Give this to Professor Mikuzuka. He released something with his one hand. I received it and realized it was a CDR of the fifth report. I must not waste his decisive action. I run off to find Professor Mikazuka. If it takes too long, the hunters will come after me. Where can I find a way to make a breakthrough? I don't know. This is the door down to the basement. I inserted the ID card I used with Ichinose before, but now it seems I can't open it. Someone must have changed the settings. The office? I stood in front of Professor Mikazuka's office. He had not been seen for a long time, and he was supposed to be here now. I touched the doorknob. It's unlocked. I carefully opened the door and looked inside. The secretary, Maiko Mizukoshi, who was there when I first visited the laboratory, was gone. Of course, Professor Mikuzoka was not there either. No one is here? What's going on? I searched the inside of his offices before, but no one was to be found. What should I do? Where the heck is he? Hey, is anyone in there? I can't see anyone, but I can feel someone's presence. Of course, I think it's my imagination. Come on, this way. This time, I thought I heard a voice, but it sounded too familiar to be an auditory hallucination. Is this voice? It sounds familiar. No way, is it Sis? The voice led me to a corner of the professor's office. A ray of sunlight leaked through the blinds, seemingly illuminating something. This is an ID card. It looked similar to the ID card of Professor Mikazuka that I had got before, but it was different. I read the name on it. Asami Kamijo. I got Asami Kamijo's ID card. That's not in blue text and also not finished punctuated. Weird. Basement entrance. I inserted Asami Kamijo's ID card and the door to the basement opened. Mr. Ichinose was with me before. Now I'm alone, but I'm not scared. I'm sure everyone will protect me. The door opens onto a wide hallway. Go forward. I'm not going to read these. Unless it's new, I'm not going to read it. We're going to keep going forward. Unless it wants me to go... An unfamiliar smell. Unless it wants us to go to the mummy. I'm just going to go back to the... thing. I'm just going to go back to the room. Oh. I guess we do have to go back to the mummy? Oh, yeah, this. It is in front of the room where the woman's body was placed. I tried to open the door with determination. It doesn't open? Who's there? Is it someone from Akata? Looks like someone took the report from Yumino, or he betrayed me. In any case, it looks like I lost. If I were just to destroy the building as it is, the lab would still be rebuilt. Oh wait, Yumino has not betrayed you. I have the fifth report he was supposed to bring. That voice is... The door is opened. An old man is alone inside. It must be Professor Mikazuka. No way. It's Asami. Is that you? It's Professor Mikazuka, isn't it? Am I seeing an illusion? Is it really Asami? No, she was definitely 4 years ago. I am the one who was raised as Asami. I was created by the research of Mikazuka Lab and taken over by Assistant Professor Haibara. Oh my. You can't... be alive? Yumino asked me to give you the report. If I filed charges with this fifth report, everything that has been done in the lab will be exposed to the public light. What will happen to the lab? Why would you, the head of the lab, want to close your own lab? I truly believed our research would benefit the future of human existence. But soon it was taken over by one powerful man, Akata, who is also my sponsor, and his research was privatized in an unethical way. 4 years ago, when Asami tried to press charges, I couldn't deny my life as a researcher. I left my daughter and chose my laboratory. I couldn't go against Octa. It's ironic. Since I lost my daughter, I've learned how valuable human life is. Integrated human development studies. I devoted my whole life to it, and it has turned into nothing of any value. In the end, I must clear myself of my sins. His eyes showed a dark and unwavering will, as well as resignation. The transfer of the 5th report is complete. Now, I'll blow up this lab. I will at least make up for it by exposing everything about me and my lab to the public light, and by destroying this abominable lab. Come on, time is running out. Go. I'm sorry. Wish there was something I could do. I have only one request. Tell me. Please keep the students' research data. For me, this lab was never an abominable place. All the students I met were kind, sincere, and nice people. I have a lot of respect for these people who were doing research for the benefit of the people of the world. Research results are the fruit of everyone's efforts. That's why I'd like you to keep only the students' research data, not to lose everything in the lab. Well, you are right. I almost forgot something important too. But the time to blow up is already approaching. It will take a few minutes to transfer the data now. That will be the end of you. I'll wait. I can't change the time of the explosion. You shouldn't be involved in this. I'll get it and go. It's okay. I'm going to live because everyone saved my life. He operated the device as soon as he heard of my decision. Only a few moments were left for us. Finally, I got to see you. What? He looked at the coffin in which a woman named Tamiko laid and pulled something out of it. That is... This hair accessory is one Tamiko wore until the end. It's the same one as mine? You were not born for research use. You were born to be loved. What? I held another hair accessory in my hand. It had been in the basement for a long time, but I could feel its warmth. I and Tamiko named you. Your name is not Asumi. I interrupted him when he was about to say the name. Well, it's better for you not to listen to. No, that's fine. I'll keep on living as Asumi. That's what everyone used to call me.
What a bait and switch.
At that moment, an alert went off that the student's research data has been successfully transferred, and I took the disk for activation. Bye, Asumi.
I hope you live happily from now. This is just like the end of Red vs. Blue.
I'm glad to have come to this.
Oh, it went by too fast. Goodbye, Professor.
I said goodbye to him and Tamiko and walked out of the room. Just as I was about to hurry up the stairs, I hear an explosion. The explosion started. I can't go up the stairs anymore. What should I do?
The second exit out of the lecture room.
I sit in front of the door of the former lecture room. Identity confirmed, blah blah blah. I made it. Maybe I can get out from here. This is where I got the 5th report. I was surprised for a moment, but it was the same holography I had seen before. I ran through the underground, which kept vibrating intensely with a roaring sound. Thank you. I ran up the stairs with the motionless holography and the moving electronic terminal in my back. Again, I heard another explosion. What? I can't get out. The old stairs that should have led to the outside of the building had already partially collapsed, making it impossible to get to the ground. I heard an explosion. The stairs above me and around me were also collapsing. It seemed I would not be able to escape. I gave up. If I hadn't taken everyone's research data with me, I might have survived, but I had no regrets. I just felt sorry for everyone. Someone is Kitty? Why? Asumi, don't give up. I'm coming. Oh, it was Yumino. Yumino, are you there? Come this way, quickly. as he moves the debris out of the way and reaches out toward me. Oh. What? What? As he moves the debris out of the way and reaches out toward me hard. My hand? I think he is what that's supposed to say. Fortunately, I was close to the stairs and managed to get out. As before, I went out by the incinerator. I kept running and moved away from the lab building. Run! The whole building will collapse soon! As I glanced back at the lab, the terrible events of the last week flashed through my mind. Strangely, the memories of this time have become precious to me now. Goodbye. The imposing edifice of Mikazuka Lab is suddenly smashed to pieces by a massive explosion. We protected ourselves by cowering in place and protected our precious research data. Oh, we actually get to see what she's wearing. She's wearing like a skirt and her sweater and like boots. I can feel my consciousness fading once again. As the shockwave from the debris from the explosion rained down on me, I sensed someone standing by me. Somehow, I feel like everyone is beside me. Rip. Rip the three homies. Oh. Mr. Ichinose, the results of the experiment are in. Thanks. Well, let me see. What do you think? Well, the data certainly features some statistical anomalies. It's no good? Afraid not. You'd better do it one more time. Okay. Just in case, record the data. There might be something useful. Of course, I'll get right on it. It seems you're getting the hang of things here. Miss Kaori, thanks for your help. I have to do every experiment over and over again, though. Hardly any experiments go perfectly the first time, even for me. The stories my sister told me, they always sounded so wonderful. I wanted so badly. I wanted so badly to be a researcher in a university lab just like her. Mr. Shina, I need to redo this experiment. Would you be able to analyze this data for me? No problem. But soon you'll need to be able to make an analytic program by yourself. I'll teach you after the experiment. Really? Thank you so much. You look like you're enjoying yourself, Asumi. You're a real scientist now. Yes, it's all so much fun. But it's harder than I thought. I feel like a laborer sometimes. The achievements of your research will be used to better the lives of people in the very near future. Yes. Oops. Researchers the world over have worked hard like this since time immemorial. They've enriched human existence and saved countless people from death and disease. And I'll do my best to join their number. December 24th, the end of Mikazuka Laboratory. Miss Asumi? You are awake? Huh? Where am I? It's okay. Professor Mikazuka warned me about what he was planning, and I got safely away before you. After the explosion, I found you and dragged you out of there. Dr. Mikazuka's document and the fifth report have been submitted to the police via reliable intermediaries. See? Shinichi points at the TV. A special news program is showing. Professor Mikazuka has uncovered all the activities of the lab. Doubts have been cast upon the veracity of his statement from some quarters, but it appears genuine. The professor, as a key figure in academia, carries tremendous influence. His words are shocking. An investigative team has been put together, including police, prosecutors, and ministry officials. The documentary evidence also implicates former Minister of Education Akita as the lab's sponsor. The public prosecutor will conduct a hearing with Mr. Akita regarding the matter. Mr. Akita's son has already testified, corroborating the allegations against his father. The opinion of most experts is that Mr. Akita will not be able to avoid a prison sentence. We won. You did it. It took the courage and commitment of 2 Asumis, but in the end... Yumino? What happened to him? Is he okay? Yumino covered for me in the end. I was safe because he was... He is alive, but he was badly injured. Fortunately, he wasn't crushed under the rubble. He's not here now, he's at the police hospital. He's a key witness, and he wanted to testify himself. Oh, he's safe. Good to know. And Funabashi and Maiko? Or rather, the Funabashis and the Maikos? They are injured, but they all seem to have survived. With Akita gone, nobody will try to control them now. They will have normal lives. You look so pale. Why don't you rest some more? You were just exhausted. You won't reconsider? Mr. Shina, you knew? I can't go back now. If I don't do this, who will? I can't allow these facts to just be buried in the dark. You and the others should continue your research. There's so many people who need you in the world. You must be the bearers of science. If you help me, it'll only cause trouble for you later. You must ignore me. Asumi, Thank you for your concern, Mr. Shina. I'm glad you care. Asumi, I couldn't save you. I know you can never forgive my cowardice. Miss Asumi, I'm sorry. I knew, but I couldn't help you. No, I was too afraid of the lab. I left you to die. I know you must resent me so much. Waking up, I find myself on the bed in the same hospital room as a while ago. Shinichi is sitting beside me, watching anxiously. I instinctively understand that the danger is gone at last. My heart is filled with relief. Are you all right? Yes, I was just dozing a little. By the way, did you ever find out what else was included in the 5th report? That's the funny thing. I analyzed the CD-ROM, but there was nothing. What? The report only contained her statement exposing the lab's litany of past crimes. But then what happened to the ultimate IHDS research that Akita wanted so badly? Either it was destroyed by Asumi Kamijo herself, or it never existed in the first place. This is simply my own supposition on the matter, but just maybe, Miss Asumi's message is that there's no such thing as an ultimate truth for IHDS. For a while, I allow my mind to wander, imagining how she felt after finishing her report. No ultimate truth for IHDS. You might be right. That may have been her message. She may have been rejecting the entire premise. But still, if it really didn't exist, then something seems a little off. Akita desired the 5th report so badly. So badly that even though it was bundled with a report incriminating him, he couldn't erase it. I think Asumi's research must exist after all. What you say makes sense. Miss Asumi was a true scientist. It's not her style to lie. And I know she worked for many years on some sort of research, so it's odd that nothing remains. If she had discovered nothing, Akita and Haibara wouldn't have been so obsessed. Completed or not, it seems unlikely that a truly brilliant scientist like Miss Asumi would not leave any record of her work behind at all. But the fact of the matter is that the report contains nothing. The two of us fall silent, both considering what the truth of the 5th report might be. After a while, Shinichi speaks. This information isn't definitive, but I did hear a little about her research. What? From who? From Miss Asumi herself, about what she was working on. What? Really? Yup, it's true. But we weren't really talking seriously. We were kind of joking around. Yeah, we were just joking, talking about what the ultimate achievement of IHDS might be. It sounds like Shinichi doesn't quite believe his own words. She said the ultimate in IHDS research would be the return of the soul, In other words, researching the immortality of the soul. Immortality of the soul? Yes. A way of keeping the soul alive in this world even after the body has died. It is certainly fascinating, and would undoubtedly qualify as the ultimate IHDS research. But it's just a joke. The dead simply return to the earth from where they came. All human thought and intent can be explained by chemical reactions. There is no soul. There can't be. I think that what I said before must be the truth. Miss Asami's final research project never existed right from the beginning. Come to think of it, there are still a few unanswered questions. The traces of my sister that I noticed around me, they were all made by Kaori. The message my sister left on her phone on the 21st, Kaori must have left that. That's not what it said. It was left on the 20th earlier. But after Miss Kaori was murdered, when I entered Professor Mikazuka's office, I was at a loss to find anyone. At that time, someone's voice guided me. That's how I was able to find my ID card. The name on that card was Asumi Kamijo. But maybe it was all in my head. I was confused, injured, and psychologically unstable. I don't know why, but many great scientists become obsessed with the divine late in life. Oops. I can't understand why scientists would waste their time like that. Maybe there are some things that can only be understood by the truly brilliant. Research into the nature of the divine, even though the souls of the dead are gone, and there's no way that they can still exert an influence on this world. Even though it is impossible, the finest scientists have still devoted their time to it. Miss Asmi, what's wrong? You seem miles away. Nothing. I'm okay. You're right. I agree with what you say. No matter what advances science may make, the divine and the soul will never be fully explained. Huh? The door opens and a small child enters the room. She's in the bed next over. She's cute, isn't she? She's the girl we ran into the other day. Way at the start, where she was like, why are the two of you in a rush? She's looking at me. It's like she can't stop herself. She's cute. All children should be as innocent as her. Hello. Hello. What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? Is there something on my face? No, but when I came in here just now, I saw you leaving the room. I was coming in here, you went out, then I came in, but you're still in the room. It's just weird. Don't children say the oddest things? I feel as if I can hear a voice floating on the wind. Asami, I wish you happiness. Credits? Credits. There's no sound. There's no music. Oops. I guess that was the skip button. Hello? Game? Game? Wait, I'm looking at the stream. It's frozen. Wait. Oh, it's frozen. It froze at a certain point, like the Elgato froze. Let me... Hello? Elgato?
Elgato. Elgato? Why isn't it capturing? Wait, hold on. Let me move over here. Go into studio mode and... I don't know why it's not working. What? It's just not... Huh? It's not capturing. Go back over here. Elgato? Is that the end? I have a save. I don't know why it's not capturing. I have a save that loads. The Elgato isn't capturing. I don't know why. I have it turned on. It's just not going. It goes to a black screen. If I press the A button, it goes light, and then it starts from the beginning. I'm speeding through everything. I'm skipping. Maybe it'll show up again. Maybe it's eventually going to pop up on stream. I don't know why the Elgato isn't capturing. It's clearly, well, it's just not, it's not like inputting. It's clearly capturing because I can see it going into, I can see it going into the thing. Yeah, I can... Okay. Well, let me try something. I'm gonna hide the Elgato. I'm gonna pause the game. I'm gonna turn off my Switch and unplug the Elgato and then plug it back in. There we go. Okay, that was weird. Here are the credits. Here are the credits. I'm gonna let this play out. I accidentally skipped them last time, but I'm gonna let it play out just to see what happens. So, what happened? Oh, it's gone again. Oh, wait, no, it's not? Okay, no. I'm just behind on the stream. I looked over at the stream and I didn't see it and I got concerned. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. I'm just standing up and stretching. Been sat all day. There we go. Well, in the end, everybody's dead except Yumino and Kanematsu. I thought we were eventually gonna get some sort of reveal of like, oh, Kanematsu's actually evil, but nah, he was chill the entire time. He was chilling the entire time. And she was the sister, not in the way that I thought, but she was in fact the sister. Yeah, she wasn't the sister in the way that I thought she was, but she was kind of the sister. There's no fast forward. I think it's the B button that just skips all of this, but
That's actually something that I saw. That's in one of the preview scenes in the when you go to buy the game, and on Switch. That's one of the preview images. The explosion. The explosion rigged it all to explode, and then Sheena's face going all wonky. I don't know what was going up with it, like going on with the translation. It was pretty good for the most part, but then towards the end, it just got like really weird. Okay. Thank you for playing. And then the zapping scenario is now open. You can view it from New Game Zapping. The zapping scenario? What's that mean? Okay, so this is not what happened last time. You can choose what day. So what happened last time is the game just like crashed or something. It just kept crashing. Sheena's story. Oh no, I'm not doing that now. I'm not doing that now. I mean, I might. I don't think I am though. It's gonna be more reading. I don't think I have it in me to read more. But we finished it. I'm very hungry. And also my throat's getting kind of sore. My voice is getting kind of tired. I don't think I have it in me to read anymore. So with that, that's the end of Scar of the Doll, kind of. I might do this later and see what Sheena's thing is about. I might not. I finished the main story, so that's pretty cool. I was a little disappointed that we didn't have a scene at the end where as she was leaving, Mikazuka like said what her name was. So I guess this is just up in the air, and we never know what it's gonna be now. We'll never know. But oh, I never noticed that in the corner behind her head, not in the corner, but behind her head, that's her or the sister, right? So we've got Funabashi, Kaori, Yumino, Ichinose, Sheena, and then that's Kasumi. Asumi. That's really interesting. This kind of reminds me of like Get Out. Yeah, but with that, that'll be the end of today's stream. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. I'll probably stream other times this week. Don't know what. I should probably finish Zenki. But we will see what I'm feeling like and what I want to do. I will probably go play Genshin and Star Rail. I cleared out like my Trailblaze Power and Resin before the stream started, so I didn't like end up capping. But I'll probably go do stuff with that. But I think go and eat first. I'm pretty hungry. Go drink some water, get a cough drop or something. And we will see what the future has in store for us. This is a pretty good game. I like this. It got less horror at the end and more like dun dun dun, everything started kicking off, which was cool. But still plenty spooky. If I replay, I might replay and like go back and redo some decisions, but I'm gonna see what horror mode off looks like and if it just like skips stuff or if like how it does things like that. So I don't know, I don't have an ending for this. I guess I could open up Twitch.
Nobody. Oh, I don't like that. I hear myself on the stream as well. Nobody's streaming. Well, or me, I guess. Thank you once again, Misty, for the raid playing Tears of the Kingdom. I gotta keep playing Tears of the Kingdom. It's been really fun. I've also been trying to get through Three Hopes again because I want to experience the story. But the problem is, I like don't want to play any other part of the game. I just want to do the story. So, and I'm playing on easy casual because I just care about the story. I don't care about playing it as a Fire Emblem game. So, we will see about that. And I don't know. Oh, did I click on that? Oops. I don't like. Why do I keep getting those shorts? I don't like them. Just one of those like song shorts. Anyway, hopefully sometime this week I'll be streaming something. I don't quite know why. Why is this unmuted? Weird. But hopefully, yeah, something will happen. Be able to stream something. I'm gonna turn this off. That should go away. You're gonna see what it looks like when it is not being tracked. If it even does that, I wonder. Does it just freeze like that? Where are the alerts? Here we go. Turn that off. And I will end today's stream. I will end today's stream. Here. Bye. I'm leaving. It's gone. It's done. Bye. And no more. I'm looking at my keyboard to see what buttons I'm going to press. Bye.